clap that up for you. You can't hit the clap, so I'm clapping for you.
Okay, I'm clapping in my head.
All right. This I don't know if people know, but real quick, this is not my first time interviewing you, but this is the first time in studio session. Actually, you're the only person I ever interviewed on my podcast where you wasn't there, so that was like different for me. But I would try and do it in the spirit of still wanting to involve Thompson and the Clash of the Clashers. So, but you did good. You did good then. I remember talking to David saying like, "What's she do?" And I said that because like even though I had some good interviews in person with some of the legends that played before, I wasn't around here, but the way you spoke, it always just, I don't know why it always just stood out to me. And I asked him like, what she do? What she do? What she do? I ain't from Thompson. I don't know nobody from Thompson. Like I would ask you questions without knowing nothing about Thompson at all.
Right.
And just the way you answered, how you respond to a lot of the questions, I thought it was dope. I learned a lot that day too, just from that alone. So definitely, you definitely good in your field. Let's say that,
I
so,
try.
Yeah, I say the same thing. Look at you, man. Look at that, man. I say the same thing. When I ask a good question, they say, "Yeah, that's a good question." I say, "I try." I try. That's what I'm here to do. So quickly, if this is, I guess, tell us a little about yourself, like where you from, kind of what you do.
Okay, so like you said, from Thompson, born and raised. I went to Clayton State University for my undergrad, which is about 25 minutes south of like downtown Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I majored in communications and media studies. Always, I knew from the jump I wanted to like work in television, broadcast, journalism, whatever they were calling it at that point in time. I knew this is what I wanted to do. So I majored in communications and media studies. From there, most people kind of know me from the news aspect. But even prior to that, like when I got out of high school, when I got out of college, I worked at Enterprise here in Augusta. Started off at the Gordon Highway. I was off Walton Way. Then I went to
Enterprise. Car rental?
Rental cars, yep. I tell people that's like, how nowadays all the kids working at like Chick-fil-A and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Enterprise is like the best out of college job because they're gonna work you. You're gonna learn how to deal with all type of people. And back then you could just, you was working the clock, so you was gonna make you some good money.
What you think you learned from working there? Like what you learned at that age, obviously.
Just how to handle people, and also to understand like everybody's dealing with something different, but everybody wants the same thing. So like in that space, everybody want to rent a car, but everybody need a car for something different. Some people are renting a car because they were in a car crash. Some people are renting a car because they're going on a vacation. Some people are renting a car because they trying to get to their daddy's funeral. So everybody's needs and wants, essentially, they all align. They all needed to get in the car. You know what I mean? So you learn how to kind of deal with them based upon what you hear. So you got to listen. Sometimes that's like the most important thing for me. Like when people be explaining their situation, I try to just listen, because if I assume you need the car because it's Memorial Day weekend, and I'm like, oh, you excited about going out of town, and you tell me like, no, I just said my daddy's in the hospital. You see what I'm saying? Like you sometimes you be tone deaf, but I feel like that taught me that because people gave off different energies. But like I said, I worked there. I did business to business sales at WOW. You ever? I'm sure
the cable company.
Yeah, child, that's not me.
Wait, what you didn't like about it?
I'm not begging. You know what I mean? Either you want it or you don't. That's just what it is for me. Either you're gonna get and as someone who was from the area, like how can I convince you to get WOW for your business when you got Comcast, AT&T? Yeah. Like, girl, I understand. Let me get out your way. That's when I knew, like, yeah, no. Because trying to get in news was just hard. It was really, really hard. And then eventually I got in at Fox 54, which is WFXG. I started out as a digital content producer, which, for everybody that's listening or watching, we are the people who write up the web articles that y'all share all over Facebook with people's mug shots with the creative headlines. And that was me. We're the people that are, posting things on the news page or responding. We're the people that when you call the news station with a news tip and you want to talk to somebody, we're probably some of the first people that you talk to. And the thing that I liked about being at Fox 54 was I'm from Thompson. I know the area for real. Like I know what people want to hear about. I know what's going on. Sometimes I know the backstories on things. Sometimes I know the people. It'll be times where like, and just being completely transparent, I would be like, no, don't run that. And they'd be like, why? I'd be like, that's not even how that really went down. Like, let's just wait, or there would be moments where I'm like, I'm not putting him on there for let's just say like fraud or something like that. I'm not. I know who that is. I got to see them in studio. Like I'm not writing that. You know, like that's not anything of, you know, it's what we call like you have to have a journalistic instinct.
Yeah.
So I did that. I left the Augusta area. I went to Charlotte. I worked for, I think that's where I was when I talked to you. I was up in Charlotte.
Okay.
I was working for the NBC affiliate in Charlotte, which is WCNC. That was cool. I was there for like a year. You know, it was cool. It was good.
I don't want to go too far. I will say this though, like everybody I be asking, like, "Hey, tell me about yourself." They'll just say like, no lie, about 15 seconds. I gotta pull it out.
I'm gonna tell you about me.
I like that. Shout out to you. Man. Yeah, you gonna tell me definitely
because ain't nobody else gonna be able to do it. Only I can tell you about me. And you know, and not sounding like cocky, but in just being completely like 100. Like I get excited to talk about myself because I've been blessed to manifest everything that I wanted. So I'm excited to tell you like, oh, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that,
facts.
because I legit like. I have done everything that I said I wanted to do.
I
thus
respect
far.
that. I definitely respect that. I want to start. I want to go back. So you say you're from Thompson, right? So like I said, I asked everybody this. I had a few guests on from Thompson. I do like my Thompson episodes just because I get to learn more about Thompson.
Yeah.
But I know you like. Not only you from Thompson, you're a known person in Thompson. Like you have your family, your background. Come on now. Come on. Come on now. All right. Tell me. Let's start your upbringing. Tell me what's your household with like mother, father, uncles, cousins, siblings, pets. Like where you rank in the family. Like tell me about your household.
I think I'm from a unique situation because my brother and I grew up in Thompson, born and raised per se, but my parents are not from Thompson. So like my dad is from Jenkins County, my mom is from Emmanuel County.
That's Savannah?
Jenkins County is like near like Statesboro.
Okay.
And Emmanuel County is like Swainsboro.
Okay.
So that's where they're from. They came here in 1981. My dad started coaching basketball. So I grew up in an area some people call it like Cherokee. Like I grew up where Cherokee meets Kennedy Circle. So most people nowadays say like, oh, Coach Thompson used to live in the bottom. They call it the bottom because it's the bottom where...
That's the bottom of like Thompson.
No. It's just where the neighborhood Cherokee meets the neighborhood of Kennedy Circle. So you're not really either one per se. You like in the bottom, like you right in the cut. Like I can go to Cherokee through a path. I can walk up the street and I can go to Kennedy Circle.
Okay.
But like well knitted like communities, neighborhood, like a real deal, like Black established neighborhood. Like I can go next door and ask for some eggs and milk, or I can go up the street and my mama knew like, oh, Kayla's up the street. So like that's how I grew up. 2-parent household, just my brother and I, no pets.
No pets.
Yep, no.
Just I want to make sure I've been out there a few times. I drive through Thompson. I don't really be in there like that, right?
That's cool.
A few times I've been in there. I've been to the school a few times for games and stuff. It's been a long time since I've really been in there to say, you had a movie theater over there? You had a movie theater out there somewhere?
They do. It's in downtown.
I was there before. I said, okay, this is neat.
Yeah.
You know, it was new. But so when you say like, you can go to your neighbor, like a house is connected? Is it like spaced out?
No, it's like Kennedy Circle and Cherokee is like legit like
a complex?
Nah, it's like Georgetown. That's what it's called. Like off of Deansbury. It's a neighborhood for real. Okay. Yeah, like you know, growing up, like they put a park up there, got the Montego Park, like you got a park people can walk to. Kennedy Circle is on the back end of what used to be Bilo's, like the kids could cut through and go to Bilo. You know what I mean? Like it's a legit like neighborhood, like house, front yard, backyard, house, front yard, backyard, fence. Some people have pools, like yeah.
So it's not like country, like everybody makes it seem like country.
It's not like what people try to make it seem. You know, they act like
I'm telling you,
now you go out to the county because that was what they kind of considered to be like the city limits. You go out to the county, the houses are a little bit more like spaced out, but it ain't nobody out there riding herd.
Yeah. Like, so it ain't like Burke County, or is it like Burke County? Or not really?
It probably is. I haven't really been like in the residential area of Burke, but what I mean when I say it probably is, like I would imagine the city of Waynesboro looks completely different from like the county line of Burke. If you get what I'm saying.
Okay,
like
definitely.
Yeah.
Y'all got a Walmart though, so we got to clap it up for y'all having a Walmart. Anyway,
We got Walmart.
It can't be too country.
Shout out to Charles. He's the manager at
I
Walmart.
know Charles. Shout out to Charles.
You know
He
Charles?
wasn't Evans. I know him.
Yeah. Shout out to Charles.
He's a funny guy. I'm gonna try to get on the podcast. I think he deserved to get on the podcast.
He I'm sure he got a lot to
He's
talk
from
about.
Washington County though.
Unfortunately.
Oh, here we go. That's your rival?
It was back in the day. It was.
Oh, okay.
It migrated to Burke. I would say.
I can see why. Football. Makes sense. But y'all, it's a football town, right?
I mean,
I guess not to you. Your dad's coach basketball.
Well, it's a football town. I mean, my dad coached football too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he coached in the 80s when they went back to back. He was the offensive coordinator.
See, I ain't gonna lie. I was born in 1990, so I don't know nothing about the 80s.
They know.
As far as sports, you know.
Yeah. But it is a football town, meaning that football is the sport that brings people of all natures together when we talk about Thompson.
So what was it like for you? Like, I want to focus on that a little bit. I got notes I want to get into, but what was it like for you, like growing up in Thompson, knowing your dad is this big time coach in the city? Like
I'm not gonna say he wasn't that. He isn't that to me. That's my daddy. And I think
that was a country way to say daddy too.
Yeah, but I want people to understand the personal aspect because, sometimes people think that because that's my daddy.
You never saw a coach. That wasn't what you saw.
No, I saw that
daddy.
my daddy. My daddy just so happened to be an educator who so happened to coaches basketball, but like that's my daddy for real. Like if something happens to him, my life would be devastated. Whereas in like for you, that's just Coach Thomas. You see what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
So when people say things or when people have an opinion, sometimes people say, well, it's sports. Everybody gets to have an opinion about this and that. But it's just like, no, these are real people. Like this somebody that stay up at night until I'm home. Like this somebody that really care.
It's funny you say that and how you say it that way because like, of course, I asked around first before I get people on.
Okay.
I thought you already said yes, but I asked around like, yeah, I'm excited. Like she said yeah. And I remember somebody was like, she's really opinionated. But it was about sports though. So whatever you got to somebody about a sport and it had to be about your dad, I just knew already. So when you say that, I'm like, okay, I can see why. Because people joke a lot.
Yeah.
But like I said, to us it's a joke.
Right.
To you it's like, hey, I ain't playing that. That's not a joke to me.
And sometimes like. Sometimes it is a joke. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it comes from a good space. Sometimes I may like be reading and like ha 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 in my head, but I ain't gonna ha 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 in real life. But I be like, okay, that's a good one. That's funny. Or like I may like, you can like ask my best friend, like I may like send her a screenshot after the game and be like, okay, now they got down on this one. Like I get them there. But I ain't playing about no disrespect. You know what I mean? Like I ain't, because you're not going for that about yours. So I don't know how they think I'm coming behind mine, but any of them, I'm coming.
I like that. So talk about the relationship you have with both of your parents, your mom and your dad. Like not now, but growing up. Yeah.
I think that my parents tried to, me in particular, I feel like they tried to keep me really, really like sheltered. I mean, I'm not like that for real. Like I don't, and just being completely honest, like I didn't necessarily, I'm not saying that my parents didn't have hard times and that they didn't have to find a way to make a way. But what I'm saying is there are people out here who have real, more legit stories where they really had to figure it out. I didn't have that. But as I got older, the less and less sheets they pulled off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as I was growing up, I was able to see clearer and clearer and clearer, but it's like they spoon fed it to me. And I think that, I don't know how old are you, but I was born in 91, so
90.
I'll be 33 in June. But I think we are a part of like a unique generation where we kind of like in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
We know how to go get it out the mud, but we know the shortcuts too.
Definitely.
And I think that our parents kind of could tell that that's where the times were coming. And so they pushed us to just get it out the mud. And we used to always just try, and like, I'm not saying that like as a term of like slang or anything, but I'm just saying like they taught us the hard way of doing things, even though, in your household or in your neighborhood, you knew somebody who had high-speed internet or dial-up internet, but they would be like, you ain't gotta do that. You just do this and do that, So that type of thing, that's just kind of how it was. I feel like my mom, for the most part, like my mom was my brother and I, like she was our mama and our daddy, because he was coaching both sports. And then like he used to also coach cross country. So he was doing cross country,
he was spread thin.
football and basketball. And like he would like drive the buses, like, cause he has his CDL. So he would drive the buses if they need.
Hold up. What kind of buses? The
the
yellow
school buses? Yeah, to take like for like athletic events.
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
So like, let's
not
just
in the morning though.
No, not in the morning. But like, meaning his time, it was more. So it wasn't. He's not the type of coach that just come to the game.
Gotcha.
He the coach that got to go to the bus barn, get the bus, make sure it got gas, sweep the bus, get the kids on the bus, go to the game, coach the game, go back to school, talk to the kids, make sure the locker room is straight, make sure the gym is straight, put everything back up, get back on the bus, sweep the bus, take the bus back to the bus barn, then come home.
Did he just get one check from that school?
Yeah, I mean, but he got like, I guess it was all
like
included.
Stipends
was included in all of that. Yeah, but when we just talk about time, like he wasn't a coach that just went to practice and came home.
Yeah.
He didn't operate like that.
He's a real coach. That's all.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, he's a real coach. That's all. I like that. Yeah, hell yeah. But I mean, all them jobs, like I can see that though. Like it sound movie like. That sound like something you'll see in a movie like of somebody trying to paint a picture of how dedicated somebody is.
Right.
But you just kind of throwing it off like because you know firsthand.
Right.
But you said with your mom. So like, how was that growing up? Like, was it cool? Was it like, all right, like take a sport off? Or was it like, how'd you feel about all of him coaching that much?
I think before I was old enough to be around the sports, I didn't understand it. And then once I got old enough to like tag in and come along to practices and stuff, then I got it. But see, like my brother who's older than me, because he was a boy, he dived in head first a lot sooner than I did. I probably really like, even though I was probably going to practices at like 5, 6, 7 years old, my memory as far as like really understand, like especially because by 10 he was really only coaching basketball, but my memory of things probably really didn't start to like really click until I was like almost in middle school, as far as like what was going on. What does region games mean? What does it mean when it's like, oh, we're going to Josie? They building a new gym. So we're not playing in the old gym. Like I tell people all the time, like I remember the old Josie gym. I remember the old Laney gym. I remember the old Butler gym. Like I remember them, of course, as an opponent. But what I'm saying is around that time was when my memory started to like really hold on to like, oh, my daddy is a coach. And we're going to the game. And then we got to go to, we're going to Augusta, So that's how it was for me.
Well, talk about that a little bit. I know it's on a tangent, but like going to Augusta, what is that like? What does that mean for somebody from Thompson? Like, are we going to Augusta? We going to town?
Well,
like,
for us now, it's not we're going to town. First of all, let me tell you that, because it does not mean that much to us. But growing up, you was going to the mall, you was going to Funsville, you was going to, remember they first built the Regal Cinemas across the street from Limelight. Yeah, we were going to the movie theater with all the lights. It was almost like Augusta was just this big place. We didn't think like people were different or anything like that, but we just knew that what Augusta had, Thompson didn't have.
There's more attractions.
Right, but it wasn't that we didn't like Thompson. We just knew if I want to go get like my back to school clothes, most of us were going to Augusta. We were going to the mall.
Where the mall is at.
Some people who could afford it, they would go like to Stonecrest. Remember when Stonecrest was built? Okay, we go this way. But like that's what it was for us. It was just I gotta go here to get what I need type.
But I'm just out of curiosity. I don't know, just so it might come off as funny, but like out of all like the outskirt towns, what do you think Thompson is amongst? Like, 'cause you got Lincolnton, right? If I'm mistaken, is that outskirt town or no? Does that count? They good at football too, from what I remember. I don't know how good they are right now.
They technically they are in the CSRA. Yes.
Yeah, so I asked that because you got like the Burke counties, you got your Louisville, whatever, you got your Thompson, you got your I think that about far to go with Lincoln, if I am mistaken. Harlem, I guess. I don't know if that counts. I don't know how long. I don't know how big these places are. I just hear about them. I just drive when I go into Atlanta. I see them on the exits.
Warrenton,
that's another one. Y'all ain't that like y'all rivalry? No.
Nah.
Okay, well, they be saying that sometimes. I thought
they probably do. They probably do say that.
I thought maybe it was like mutual, but I guess not mutual. But like, what do you think?
You know
Thompson
what it mean to be a rival?
Not really. I'll be winning, so I don't know. Like it don't be tied up. It don't be like neck and neck to me. You know, it's just I win a lot. So what's the rival to
Right.
you? What's the rival?
You heard what you said.
Yeah.
When you tally it up, you be up, right?
And that's why you said,
in order for it to be a rivalry, it got to be like they might.
Yeah, it's up in the air. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
Lie. There are rivalry, especially when it comes down to basketball. But I don't. It's
she ain't trying to get going to no problem. She was like, nah.
Man, they gonna drag me on the book. But I'm saying it from a space of competitiveness. Like, if I say that you are a rivalry, then I'm saying you on my level.
Okay, I can see that. I can see
feel
that.
me? Like, no disrespect at all. I used to think like Warrington's rivalry was like Wilkerson or no, for real, like Hancock, because they would be in their region for real. So like they were going, their wins and losses against one another actually meant something.
Right.
When we play Warrington, it's a door seller. We're gonna sell out whether we in Warrington or whether we in Thompson. But win or lose for both of us, it doesn't necessarily stand for anything once we get to February and we talk about region play and we talk about state play. So respectfully, are they our rivalry? I don't like necessarily really saying it. By definition, they are. But at the same time, like, who wouldn't get up to play Thompson?
Yeah.
If you right, you know what I'm saying? You 15 minutes down the road, who wouldn't get up to play Thompson?
That makes sense.
You know.
I also think you also from what I'm listening to, like you've seen a lot of different eras.
Right.
So it might be an era where that might have been a rivalry. Then it might be an era where it wasn't.
I feel like we're in that era now.
Okay.
I feel like we're in the era now. And I'm class of 09, so I remember we used to beat Warrington like 101-20. You see what I'm saying? So when we No shade. Y'all know. But for real, like they are doing really well. They've had a lot of successful seasons, probably over the past 10 years, they either 500 or over. You know, as far as like wins and stuff, like being completely serious, like no shade. So, but I think that's because the game has changed. Number one. Number two, a lot of people who lived in Thompson graduated Thompson, moved away, and they don't live here anymore. So when we talking about a talent pool, our pool has shrunken.
Okay.
And I feel like when we talk about like Warrington's pool, they're still single A, but I feel like it has also kind of strengthened as well.
Leveled out now.
It's leveled out, yeah.
I was gonna ask
to be fair.
Because I know in Augusta is like that. I don't know how it is on that side, but like, do people from Thompson, do they go to Warrington? Like
a lot of people that's from Thompson from Warrington. Or a lot of people that's live in Warrington, they from Thompson.
Because kids do that now.
Or they
like,
can.
You know, back in a certain era, you had to go to the school you was on. That was it. You was on. You went to that school.
But see, nowadays that we're running into like, you know, your grandmama might have been from Warrington, and she still got her house. So you using your grandmama address to play in Warrington, but you live on West Hill Street in Thompson. Seriously.
Got you.
Or vice versa. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of because it's in a perfect world, nobody will ever do it. But like if McDuffie County and Warrington like were to merge, it would be a beautiful thing. I genuinely think that when we talk about talent, when we talk about academics from the from like high school level, I think that for sure. But it's just, you know, times are just changing. You know what I mean? Times are just changing.
That's why I was gonna ask, like, you know, because you came up in the era where like it, not that it wasn't as progressive, but it was what we knew it was. Like you lived here, you went here. Like you knew 6th grade you were going to this high school. You knew like next year you were playing in the middle school for this school right here. Now like it's they got so many options to choose from. Or they just moving.
That's what I call it.
Whatever they come to with, whoever gonna baby me, that's what I'm going. Where can I start? I'm 9th grade. Where can I start? You know?
Yeah, because I'm better than everybody.
Pretty much. That's how they feel.
Yeah.
And then obviously, you know, then they get harsh reality when they finally make it out of high school, if they make it, you know, or whatever that happens. But so talk a little about that though. Like, what was it like for you? Like, just you specifically coming up because, I think you said earlier. I liked what you said. You said my dad was. It's very specific. You said you was like he was an educator that coached. You didn't say he was a coach.
Right.
I thought that was important.
Because like, he is.
Kind of expound on that a little bit for me.
He went to Savannah State. He majored in education. He got a master's degree from Cambridge College. He's an educator. Like he has a curriculum that he has to adhere to and abide by the state of Georgia, and he just so happens to be a coach. But I think even in the way that he coaches is from a teaching perspective. Now everybody learn different, but I think that I don't necessarily think that, you know, who can I think about, like, you know, it's almost like comparing. I'm trying to think, like, who could I compare that to? Like, Phil Jackson, GOAT, one of the greatest coaches
definitely.
of like all time. But at the same time, I think he's a little different than Steve Kerr when we talk about just coaching styles.
I can see that. I can see that.
Phil was more of a, this is what I want you to do. This is how you're going to do it. This is what we're going to do. Kerr is like, guys, this is why we have to do it this way.
Yeah.
Because if you so that's what I mean
Coaching
when I say
and teach and put together.
You got to put it together. Yeah.
So you got some coaches that can't teach. They just coach. Like
they just coach.
You need to come talented.
Right.
Come to my team knowing what 2-3 zone is.
Right.
And why you need to move this and move that. Versus I'm gonna tell you why you need to be here on this play, why you need to be here on that play, why we do that, why the timing is. That makes sense.
I mean, I think, you know, and some people may agree and disagree, like some of those people who like came up in the Thompson basketball era, but I personally think that's one of the beautiful things about Coach Thomas, which is my dad, and just the Thompson basketball program, is that because he operates it as a program, there are kids and men who have played within the program that sometimes when they go elsewhere, whether it be like JUCO, college, or when they graduate, they don't always look as good as they did playing Thompson.
Right,
playing with Thompson
right.
because it's we put you, well, not we, let me not say that. There's a whole nother thing. The program, the coaching staff will put you in a position wherein they think that it best suits your skills and ability.
Definitely. Okay.
So yeah, you may be, you know, 6'2" and can handle the ball, and you may want to be a guard, but you may, for the program, come out better being a 4-man. You know what I mean? So that's the thing.
That makes sense. So like for you, like coming up, knowing how was like middle school and elementary school was like for you, because your dad wasn't working there. So like up until you got to go to school where your dad worked at, how were you in school? What kind of student were you?
I still had to do what I was supposed to do. It's Thompson. All I got to do is send an email and say that Mikaela did or didn't do something. I mean,
but was it hard? Like everybody know? Because I'm pretty.
Yeah, it was hard. My daddy used to come, like, he would pull up for real.
Come to the school. You used to act up in school?
I ain't act up.
Why he pulled up then?
I just like to talk.
I can see that. Okay.
Hey, Georgia Power get paid off of that now, so it worked out. I ain't act up. Like I don't think I was disciplinary or disrespectful. I just had a lot to say sometimes.
Yeah, I got you. You couldn't wait till after school. I had to tell them right in class. Definitely.
Yeah.
Teacher, just be quiet for a second. I got you.
1 second. Let me make sure she knows. Did you know? You know. Yeah. That's how it was.
That makes sense, but I think that's naturally with women anyway. I think that's how it is coming up, because you want to talk, you want to do a lot of stuff in class. My sister's the same way, super smart, behave, not disrespectful, just talk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mean nothing by it. Me personally, I know it's gonna sound sexist, but I always feel like women, like if they don't talk, they start coughing. That's just my thing. I feel like you have to talk.
You got something to say.
Yeah, that's why that challenge is so funny right now, because it's a challenge when a guy just being quiet and a woman just keep talking.
Yeah.
That's just life.
This is how it is. We can't help it.
I don't think y'all notice sometimes y'all talk for 30 minutes and nobody say nothing back to y'all. And y'all don't think we got attitude or nothing. Y'all just keep going.
Keep going. Because I'm not even talking for you. I'm talking to him.
Yeah, that's crazy when I think about it. 30 minutes is wild. Like, but yeah, for you, so you said you was talkative. So like, was there ever times where you felt like you was like on a microlens because of who your dad was?
Yeah.
Like, you got looked at more because
I feel like that now, and I'm 33.
I can see it though.
Yeah,
I can see it.
But I'm more than just his daughter. I'm my own person.
Talk about it.
So I guess that kind of go back to like the beginning when you were like, you know, usually when I ask people about themselves, they kind of like keep it short and sweet. I think I do that also too because I like to make sure people understand that I did all of this. Not as Coach Thomas' daughter, not as Miss Thomas' daughter, not as Mike's little sister, but like Mikaela, when it did what Mikaela wanted to do, the way that Mikaela wanted to do it, the way that Mikaela said she was going to do it, and I can stand firm in that. So that probably also bleeds into why people think I'm opinionated, and I am, but I think it's also because I want people to understand that these are my thoughts. This is what I think. I'm not saying nothing for any representation of anybody else. When I say something, whether it be here or on Facebook or social media or at work or whatever the case may be, that's how I feel. I speak for myself.
I'm probably jumping the gun asking this question. I feel like if I don't ask now, I'm gonna forget. Like, when did you get this mindset? Because I would assume it wasn't 7, 8, 9 years old. Maybe it was. I don't know.
I always had it.
So,
the thing that I tell people about, like, and I guess I missed this when we were talking about like how my parents were, but my parents have always allowed my brother and I to have our own opinions, our own thoughts about things. When I was born, when I was a toddler, my parents did not get my ears pierced. I was like 7 or 8, and they were like, "Do you want to get your ears pierced?" Like that was a decision I got to make. Like, I think I want to get my ears pierced. So I've always they've always been big on, you're an individual, you make your own decision. We're going to teach you what's right from wrong. Of course, they pray and they want us to do the right things, but I'm responsible for the decisions that I make. So I've always done that. And I think maybe I had to get older to realize that was why they did certain things, or they're like, it's what you want to do. You know, how you feel, what you think. So
I think that it's dope because, like, I mean, I'm speaking to you because I know people watching and maybe have their own ideology, but it's the elephant in the room. You're gonna talk about your dad and his legacy and stuff like that. But I think it's dope that you are using certain words, like you were saying we. So no, not we. And you say it's I. Like, you really, even the pronoun part of it, like you really kind of hone in on that, because I think, I could be wrong, let me know, you kind of want to make your own legacy. You want to make your own thing.
And I think sometimes because I am opinionated, people try to attach what I think to what he thinks. Or they try to attach what I do and make it seem like I'm speaking for this or I'm speaking for that. No, I'm saying this because this is what I think.
Got you.
And that is probably something that I still struggle with, is learning when to let people have an opinion and when to clarify things. You know what I mean?
Because you struggle with, you saying like you clarify too much, you think sometimes? I
think I'm doing pretty good.
Lately?
This past season, I think I did great.
This season, how long is that season, real quick?
This season, like, just as far as, I count the seasons based upon the duration of basketball. That's the
season.
Okay,
I got you. I
think this season, I did pretty good. Okay. And you know, but like, you know, kind of like you said, like when I said we, like, I don't want anybody to get that confused, because then they'll say, well, she said we, so she's talking about her. No, I'm not talking about me. I'm saying that if your parents have been doing something for 42, 43 years, and you are 33 years old, and when you became 7 or 8, you start going to practices, you was the water girl, you were the ball girl, you cleaned up the locker room, you made the Gatorade, you printed out schedules, you made sure that to tweet out all the scores, you connected the media with, you know, like if they wanted to ask a question about a score that I may tweet, I may say, oh, well, you need to ask my dad, or, oh, here's the AD's number, you know, so, and I'm not a representation of any of that. But what I'm saying is, when you have kind of played a role at all parts of it, sometimes naturally you're going to say we versus
Makes
they
sense.
or them. Because in your mind, the way you operate, it is a thought into your day.
Yeah.
You know, when the schedules come out, I'm looking at the schedule saying, when can I take off? What days can I go to? Because it's a part of my life.
Well, you set the program though, and you're part of that program. I mean, whether people want to agree or not.
Well, I don't like for them to think that, because they then think that I make decisions. I don't make no decision. I work for Ford Motor Company. That's who write my check. I don't make any decision about any of that. You know what I mean? Like, and I want that to be clear. I don't make any. I shouldn't have to clear that up, but I'm just saying, like, I don't make any decisions about any of that. That I don't have nothing to, like I tell people, I don't have nothing to do with any of that. My opinion is just like people's opinion who feel like Buddy from OKC shouldn't have got MVP. But see, if I said that just from a high school perspective about, you know, I don't feel like this and that, they're gonna feel like my statement represents the program. No, why I can't just say, you get on here and you say what you think every day. Every day you say what you want to say.
I mean, I gotta clarify. You think it's because it's you? Like, it's somebody from Thompson can say the same thing.
Oh, for sure it's me.
But they're not gonna link them to Thompson High School.
For sure it's because
so I think because it's you,
yeah,
and your background, your family tree. So you know, that I think that's kind of why it might. Such and such daughter, like you said, you got your own legacy though. But that's how they're going. You know, how it's gonna come off. Anybody that don't know you, I think everybody know you though, but anybody that don't, that's probably
Yeah, it's because of that. And like I said, that's just that's the part of it that I'm still like learning. You know what I mean? Like learning when it's like, you know, sometimes I may see or hear or get a call about stuff, and I'm like, some people like, I don't know. I only been to 3 games this year. I don't know nothing about none of that, you know. And I think sometimes they be wanting me to like give some type of clarity to the situation, but I'm like, look, I'm working. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's what it is.
That just so happens to be my father, but there is no like, especially like now because I'm older and I really do want to be able to like detach myself from like and have my own space. Like I can honestly and truly say like the whole season last year, anytime I talked to him, we didn't talk about basketball.
I was actually like
him and I didn't talk about it. We talked about work, my travel schedule, because I travel a lot for work, what day I'm bringing my dog to Thompson, and with Dad in my car making a funny noise, what does that mean? Or I got a runny nose, what you think I need to take? So like that's my father.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we talk about everything that does not even have to do with basketball. It could be, well, do you like my hair? And he may be like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we're not talking about Thompson basketball. That's his job. That's not my job.
You said that you know, even as a young kid, young child, you knew that you wanted to be on TV. You knew you wanted to be in media or communications. How did you know that? Like, what you seen when you was coming up that made you that let you know you wanted to do that?
I always like to talk.
Okay, we can start there. I like that.
I knew that was for a fact something that I was good at. I didn't have to figure that out. And you know, my brother and I, my parents had like the little handheld camcorder.
Mm-hmm.
And so like fresh out the womb, like my dad has always like recorded us, like doing nothing, sitting in the house. Like he always recorded us. So like a camera don't scare me.
Yeah.
So like as we got older, my brother and I would record each other. And like Mike always wanted to be a dentist. So he would like be on there acting like he was a dentist. And then like he would like get the camera and then I'd be like, I'm Mikaela Thomas and we're at Michael Thomas's dentist office and da-da-da-da. So like it's almost like we acted our way into the things that we wanted to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't really know why I wanted to do it, but I knew I was good at talking. I knew a camera didn't scare me. And I had this like weird like, and then another thing too is my daddy used to make us read the Augusta Chronicle in the summertime and like write like a paragraph about what we wrote. Or what we read.
What did we call that back in the day? Damn, it's a word for that. It's a term. I don't know.
Probably like summer enrichment.
Damn, I can't think. That's pissing me off. I can't think about it now. But
so it was strict in the house. Like in the summertime, we were still doing like schoolwork.
I think it's called current events. That's what it was. But
okay, yeah, something like that.
It's a '90s term. It's
just
a long
making
time
sure
ago,
like we can comprehend like what we're reading and things like that.
That's dope.
So that created the news interest for me. So it just was like an all in.
Damn, I ain't pieced that. That's a good way to piece that together. I ain't thinking about that. Damn, that's dope. Okay.
So it just happened, really.
That makes sense. All right. So talk about your high school. I'm gonna get to college in a minute. Talk about your high school career. Like, how was that? You play sports at all? No. You play sports? Yes. No.
I cheered.
Okay, that's a sport.
Why you laughing? I cheer. It's just funny. I cheer. I played tennis.
That's a sport.
My senior year, I think it was my senior year. My U.S. government teacher was left-handed. I'm left-handed. It was her first year coaching tennis, and she was like, "You should just come out there. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, just come out there." And the year I went out there, shout out to Jessica Taylor. Like, she was really, really good at tennis, and like her dad would be out there helping us and stuff. I was never as good as her, but I know how to play. What else? Oh, I was on homecoming court. I was, of course, most school spirit. I mean, clearly, out of my class, who else had more school spirit than me?
I mean, I could tell from talk, hear you talk. Yeah,
right?
You definitely Thompson down.
Through
I'm gonna tell you that
right now. What else did I do in high school? I was a senior adopter.
Did you talk less? Did you get in trouble for talking? Not really. You know how to like mask it at that point.
I still talked. I don't think I talked as much.
Hey, could you date in high school? Or your dad what was that like? I know it's a strange question. I just thought about just now because I'm like, you have a brother.
I don't know if you call it dating back then. I went with people.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
we went
Letters
together.
and stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah.
I like you like me.
Yeah, I did that. But I never would like ask him like, what you think. I just would be talking to somebody, and you know. But then like my 11th grade senior year, like the guy that I was with, like my dad knew, okay, that's her boyfriend. You know what I mean? But like other than that, like nah, it wasn't like, well, yeah, because he used to come to the house or they used to let him. But see, my parents know his parents. So it was, you know, it was
Is
a
it
safe
like that
thing.
in Thompson? Everybody know everybody kind of thing?
Everybody know everybody, or everybody kin to everybody.
That can get strange.
I be telling them, hey, I know I ain't kin to y'all because my people ain't really from here. But, you know, but some of y'all need to sit down and talk for real and like make sure that y'all not
it's
aren't
important.
kin. For real. Yeah.
You got to meet the family because you might be in some picture somewhere you don't know about.
It's not even that. It's just that like it's so many like family trees in Thompson that kind of like cross, wherein it may be like you may have two cousins, and one of those cousins may be like kin to the guy. And so she may tell her cousin, like, I think that's your cousin. And then that cousin will go ask their mom, and their mom will be like, no, that's on that cousin's daddy side. You kin to her on your mama's side. You know, so it kind of is like, you got to really ask because it's possible, but it's just like you got to figure out what side everybody on.
Thompson it get crazy though. It get.
I mean, now let me clear it up. Now ain't nobody going with no cousins in Thompson.
You can't prove that. You can't prove that.
I'm not going. We're not finna say that on.
No, I don't think they're going. I don't think that's happening everywhere you go. But I mean, I could see like, you know, anywhere, not just Thompson. I think any kind of slower country place for like.
I would say smaller.
When I mean slow, I mean like it's not no traffic. It's not nothing crazy out there. That's what I mean. I'm talking about like cars, traffic.
It's a little traffic. People getting out work.
Yeah, 5, 6. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, you really are Thompson down. I can tell you, you're gonna fight for your Thompson. I like that. I do like that.
Like it's like, what time is it? Yeah.
Right now, ain't no traffic in Thompson.
Yes, it is. You know why?
It's Friday.
It's Friday, and you know what's happening at the Brickyard right now? Graduation. We're probably one of the only.
The Brickyard. What is that? That's
the stadium.
Okay.
Football stadium. We do a day like a 8 p.m. night graduation in the Brickyard. It's tradition. See, it's almost like if it rained for graduation and they have to move it inside, people are genuinely like upset. Because when they have it outside, they don't have to do ticketed. Everybody can come. When they move it inside, it's smaller. So because the gym is not that big or whatever location they may be looking at, of course, it's not as big as the football stadium. Now they got to limit it to tickets. And then number 2, like it's just a tradition to say that you graduated in the Brickyard.
That's dope though. Yeah. I never knew that. I guess, like I said, so for us, even though I have interviewed people from Thompson, I interview a good bit of people from Thompson. Everybody from Thompson pretty much got something going on too. So it's not like they were just nobody. They always had something going on. So I do like that. And I like that even when y'all come here, y'all in Augusta or whatever, like y'all are really like, y'all love where y'all from. I never had anybody from Thompson that was like, oh, it's this, it's that. Like y'all will argue down like, hey, look, we just like everybody else. What's up? You know, so I like that.
For real.
But for you, like, speak on like just more so that time span when you trying to go to college, like how you knew you wanted to go to Clayton, right? How'd you know you want to go to Clayton? Is that where you wanted to go, or? I
wanted to go to Georgia State.
What made you not go there?
My parents said it was too fast for me because it was in Atlanta and I'm from Thompson.
Look at that.
So they was like, you're not going to be used to the city. It's going to be too fast for you. Like, no, you're not going to like dead in the city. Like, no. And in like November of 2008, for whatever reason, that particular month, like they Thompson High School had like a list of colleges that you could apply to for free. And like, I think I applied like to Georgia State. I still applied. I applied to Georgia State. I applied to Clayton and Columbus State. I only did 3 schools. I was not going to just keep applying because I kind of knew like where I could get in, and I knew where I can get in, but I also knew where I didn't want to go. So it was like, I don't need for me to apply and get in knowing I don't want to go XYZ.
Gotcha.
And then like in the interim of waiting to see if I got into Clayton State, I went for a visit. And on the visit, of course, the campus is beautiful. I don't know if you've ever been to Clayton State's campus, but the campus is beautiful. There are lakes and swans out there. It's like you low-key, like you're 25 minutes from the city, you ducked off, but you like right next, kind of sort of to the airport so you can see and hear the planes. Clayton County is kind of like, hear me out, it's comparison to, I would say, Richmond County. Because you got a mall, you got a major university, which would be Clayton State,
I've been to the
Augusta
mall.
State.
Been to the mall.
Then you got your eateries, you got all of that, so you still you still get a city feel.
Yeah.
For me, that's what I want to make sure I still got that city feel without having to be in the city.
Okay.
So, and it was slow. It was slow like Thompson back then.
Now hold on. How come you can say it, but I couldn't say it?
You said the people were slow.
I run it back. Maybe, like, if I did, I ain't mean that. If
Oh,
I did,
okay.
I ain't mean that. I wouldn't say that.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like traffic wise.
Okay, yeah. Sound like me, but it's all good. It's all good. I feel like we sound like a lot. That's gonna be a clip.
Hey, you can't say it.
I got you.
Say
That makes sense. That makes sense. Definitely makes sense. So, like, talk about your time there, like, because I still don't know, like, what kind of student you were. But, like, you like a all A honor roll student
in college?
Nah, and just in life, like,
in life?
high school.
I was a social butterfly.
Oh yeah, you was playing.
If I would have hushed my mouth, I probably would have been like an honor roll, honor grad kid. I wasn't trying to be that. I didn't apply myself to be that. I knew that I could bring home one C. And I would pick which class was gonna get that C, and everything else, I was gonna bust my butt. When I got to college, my dad had my schedules, and like that's just how that went.
It's like, I think it's like a gift and a curse a little bit for like people that do make all A's or get like these great grades in high school. Because I think in college it's a lot of pressure on them to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I seen and I witnessed firsthand a lot of people in college be depressed because they wasn't getting the same grade they get in high school.
Well, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I remember in 8th grade, one of my good friends, Crystal, shout out to Crystal Reese. She's my soror as well. But we ended up getting a 0 on a quiz because like not me and her. We had some people in our class who finessed the substitute teacher to allow us to work together on a quiz. And then like when the teacher came in the next day, I guess the sub had left a note like, I let everybody get partners and work together on the quiz. And so our teacher at the time was like, all y'all getting 0s because y'all knew y'all weren't supposed to be working together, this and third. And I would never forget, like I looked to the left and Crystal was like boohoo crying. And I'm like, you crying? She was like, I've never gotten a 0 before. I was like, girl, you'll be fine. You'll be all right, girl. So yes, there are people who have never like gotten 0s or failed.
Yeah.
But see me, hey, girl, you'll be fine.
That is funny. Right. That's funny as hell. Yeah. Some kids do cry about their grades.
Yeah, she was in the 8th grade. Like she was disappointed in herself. I was just mad we got caught. You see what I'm saying? Like it's two different. She was disappointed in herself. I was mad we got caught. So hey.
And in college, so you knew off the rip you wanted to do communications, like in college.
That's what I majored in off rip. I came in as a pre-communication major. You had to get into the program, but I took my prereqs for that. Yeah. And
so, what's some things you did in college? Like, did you do any kind of like volunteer work or like?
Nah.
So you went straight from college, you graduated, and then how you got in the field? What happened?
I guess I was popular in college.
Again?
So like when I got again.
Yeah, you was popular in high school too.
I was popular in high school because Coach Thompson was my daddy. I don't necessarily know if my personality like
it could have. You never
drove me to be like. I feel like the older I got, the more like Thompson people like me, if that makes sense, because they get to kind of see me outside of what they thought I was.
Okay, I can see that.
In college, so when I went to Clayton State, no one from Thompson was there.
On your own now.
I was on my own. My roommates, Jazz and Brittany, they were from Savannah. And then I had another roommate. Now it was 4 of us. Amy was from like that area, but she ended up like transferring to UGA. But anyway, like I had to kind of figure it out. I had to make I didn't have a car freshman year. So I had to figure out who had the car, be their friend.
That is rough.
Yeah, it was tough. So I kind of had to like find my way. I had to really like figure out who I was. And I feel like while I do have like childhood friends, but I feel like the friends that I met as my college self, they truly met me. Whereas then I feel like my best friend now, I feel like we've been friends since the 3rd grade. You've been friends with me through my transition of me finding myself and vice versa. You know what I mean? But like those girls that I met in college, the people that I met in college truly like know me for real, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't necessarily, like I would hang out and stuff like that. I wasn't a part of like any like clubs and stuff. I'm just big on like I'm not doing all of that. Like either you gonna like me for who I am or you not. And that it's gonna sound cliche because I still like I wanted to be a part of Greek life. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong on that perspective. And later on in grad I did cross. But what I'm saying is like at college, I just didn't feel like the club, like I'm gonna join this club then I can have friends. Like, no, either you gonna like me in the calf, in the dorms, in passing. But if I gotta come to a meeting every second Wednesday after class just for you to be my friend, like I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So like I kind of just, I just stayed true to who I was.
Yeah.
And luckily like Clayton State, like the people there, we were like a family. Like, so people loved and respected that from that perspective.
What would you say? Yeah. Or I guess if you can give any kind of pointers or whatever, like what would you say? Like how'd you navigate through college so well? What would you say you did?
I knew I couldn't come back home.
That's one reason.
You know what I mean? I know I can't come home. So, and knowing that I couldn't come home, and okay, well, let me go back. Another thing that helped me navigate through it was, so when I graduated high school, my brother was graduating from Payne. He was a biology pre-med, pre-dental like graduate. He was like,
so he's a dentist. He's a dentist. Oh wow.
So when I went to Clayton State, he was in dental school.
Okay.
So I can't. I mean, I got to do what I got to do because they looking at him like we got one that showed us that they know how to go get it done. Now you going, of course he did Bachelor of Science. I'm doing Bachelor of Arts, but it can still be done. Both of y'all are in y'all space. So I knew that I had to get it done. Like I know I cannot go home on no BS, like at all.
Would you say did y'all have like a brother, sister, sibling rivalry thing or not really?
Nah, no. Like I never felt like that. My brother always treats me like the little sister. It was never no rivalry. I mean, because we were like 4.5 years apart. So like we never went to like school together technically. And I think, Michael realized that the way we were brought up was, it's two of y'all. If something happens to us, it's on y'all. So y'all got to like each other. Y'all got to work together. Y'all got to talk to each other. Y'all have to deal with each other. Then it turned into, as we started to get older, it turned into what you're weak in, he's good in, so you need him. Mm-hmm. What he's weak in, you're good in, so he needs you. So y'all need each other. Y'all should talk every day. I talk to my brother every day. Every day. If I don't talk to him, I'm calling. And he's married with 2 kids, and I'm calling. Well, you must ain't got no sister. Or he may call me, hey, I haven't heard from you today. So we always had a pretty close relationship. He wore and wears the big brother role really, really well. I love being little sis, the baby girl. So I never wanted to compete with him. I just always wanted to, the thing that I always like about him is that through all of his success, because he's very successful, he will always tell me, I'm proud of you. Mm. You did good. And we talking about a dentist and a mass comm major. That's 2 different spaces.
Definitely.
But he will always, I'm proud of you. You did good. I knew you could do it. That's so good. And I think sometimes just from a sibling perspective, that is what keep you going more than your mom and daddy saying they're proud of you.
Definitely.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
that's somebody you respect,
Yeah.
Y'all siblings, y'all kind of peers at the same time. It's like, I like that. That's dope. That's dope. Especially, and you're right, a dentist and communication, it is 2 different things. Spaces, definitely. But I still don't feel like what you do or what you do is easy. I don't think that at all. I don't think communication is easy. It's not just talking. I think people think it is just talking. I mean, that's start the car. Yeah. But it's not you driving a vehicle. It's way more to it than just talking.
That's why, like from a just overall statement, that's why it's important for people to like do what they're good at. Mm. Because I think sometimes, like, I used to feel like, man, I should have just majored and went to dental hygiene school. I could have worked at Michael's office and life would be easy. Yeah, okay, you could have done it, but would you be happy? You wouldn't be. I don't think I would be happy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, what we were always taught is what you are meant to do will be easy to you. It'd be so easy that you can just do it. Like you just do it. Like
Yeah.
whatever your trade is, whatever you do, you can just do it. Some people are like, well, how you do that? You're like, it's hard to explain. I just do it.
I do got a question for you, and as you said, that's a good segue. When you got out of school, like, because as a mass communication major, like, what jobs were there for you as soon as you got out of school? And when you got done, what'd you do?
Well, like I said, I worked in Enterprise because I couldn't get a news job.
But that was like right after high school, after college, you graduated, you come back home, or
I stayed up there like a year and a half, 2 years, and I worked at this. Oh Jesus! I worked at like this call center where basically we would like dispatch technicians to go out and like fix things. So like let's just say we're at a Red Lobster and their point of sale system, so their kiosk goes out. They would call us, put in the ticket, and then we would call a technician that's close to go and like fix it. I used to do that. I hated it. I mean, Jesus. I mean, because you know what I was thinking? I ain't no way in the world I went to school and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, there are people in there that's in their 40s and 50s and they've been working here for 10, 15, and they love it. Like, what?
That's why I asked you, because you said a little second ago, you was like, I used to think I should just went to dentist school. Was that during that time?
That was during that time,
like
but just
clicking
like,
for you yet?
The dream seemed easy. This to get in. I'm trying to get in the door. Like I can't even. Y'all won't even let me get in the door. I'm working at a call center, and the only reason why I'm working at a call center is because probably the way that it was described in job description on like, well, LinkedIn wasn't a thing like back then, but like Indeed, it probably said something about communication. So I went into. It's almost like people who used to sell knives.
Oh yeah,
you know, Cutco, whatever it's called. I mean, they thought they was going to be making money for real. You know, they like, oh, I imagine in sales, this will be great. And then they like, I'm begging. I'm here lying to people. Like, shout out to our brother wife. She came to our house. They went to high school together, but I'll never forget. She came to like our house and did like a whole like presentation with them people. Yeah. Anyway, she did good though. Janae, you did really good. We didn't buy anything, but she did good. Anyway. Yeah.
Oh boy! All right, so after college, so you working, but you're not doing what you really want to do. So you kind of second guessing like what you did in college now because it's not clicking for you. Like I guess ASAP, snap a finger. Then you say you worked at Enterprise. Okay, but you like that though because you feel like you learned from there, but you still know that wasn't your calling. That wasn't what you was put on here to do.
No, not at all.
How did you get from I guess Enterprise to the news?
You want to know
how hard was it?
You want to know the truth?
Yeah, definitely.
I just emailed like every station. So I emailed JBF, RDW, and Fox 54 almost like 6 times a month. I applied to everything they had. Everything. Every opening. Producer, whatever. I ain't know nothing about producing no show. None of that. All I knew is if you get me in there, I can figure it out. Because I had enough confidence in myself and knowing that was something that I wanted to do. If they get me in there, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't even really tell a lot of people this story, but I remember I had an interview at WRDW. So that's News Channel 12.
Yeah.
They had their news director had emailed me and was like, hey, I got this producer role. It's yours if you want it. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, it's about to happen. Like, yes. But I was also like, I don't know how to produce, but I'll figure it out. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can come this day for the interview. Like we set up an interview time and everything. And the day that I was supposed to go interview, she emailed me, was like, oh, something came up. I'll get with you and reschedule. So I was like, dang, okay, like, cool, fine. These are the days that I'm available. Like, just let me know. I'll be there. Man, days went by. That lady did not email me back. That lady did not call me. And I just like kept emailing. All the while though, at this point now, I'm like really in JBF and Fox 54 inbox, like I'm applying super hard. And she finally emailed me back and was like, oh, we ended up giving it to another candidate. And I remember thinking like, bro, you just told me.
It was yours if I wanted it.
Like you ain't even gonna give me a chance to come in there and sit down and like talk to you and like for you, because I was thinking, this is my thought process. I may not be qualified for the job, but if I get in there and I talk to you and you see my passion, you'll make a role for me. Like I'll get a role. You know, that's what I was thinking. Like, I just want to talk to you at this point. You didn't even give me that. So I remember I got a call from Angela Green, who was the news director at Fox 54 at the time. And literally like I probably still got it on my phone, but the voicemail was like, hey, this is Angela Green from Fox 54. I've been watching you for the past year, and I think you're ready now. I got a digital content producer role. Like, hit me up if you want it. You know, we can set up some time to come in, whatever. Because in the middle of this, I'm doing like the Mikaela Thomas TV stuff.
Yeah, okay,
you know what I
okay.
mean? So like this is where I'm like, okay, enterprise is cool, but I still gotta like stay true to like what it is I want to do, even if I have to create my own space, because this is when like Bleacher Report is like climbing,
Right,
Twitter is a thing, like people are really, this is the pre-birth of content creators.
Right,
This
right,
is that
right.
era, you know what I mean? And Instagram is a thing
Putting the
now.
work era. You had to really put the work in.
Yeah. So
Wasn't no shortcuts for that era.
None. You had to really like figure it out. So
Editing
I'm
everything.
doing that, and it's gaining its own traction, just like on Facebook and stuff like that, because
Right,
people already knew me. But like I got into it that way. Like I really just kind of like, I just kept knocking at the door, basically, like, because you're gonna let me in here. Now when I get in here and I'm gonna look around, and I'm like, oh, I can help you plug that in, you know, like, and that's just kind of what happened. I mean, and shout out to Angela, because when she got me in there, she genuinely like took time with me to like make sure that I was just versed in what it means to be a part of like local news, because
Right.
it's not what you think it is. And like you get in there and you be like, I thought it was this way, and it's not really like that.
Yeah.
So you have to like learn that. So yeah.
But speaking of that, I want to stand that a little bit. Like, what's some things you learned as far as with local news, like how to report it or what you don't do, do's and don'ts. I guess that do's and don'ts are like local news, like, as far as from your experience.
Get both sides. Get both sides of the story. Get both sides of the story.
Why is that important?
Because people be lying.
Okay, that's a
the
good
bottom
answer.
People be lying. If I just go off of what you say and I report it, Gino could sue the station and say you defamation of character for Richmond County Sheriff's Office because the police report says this, and this, but you just wrote it off of this. You didn't reach out to us. You didn't ask us for no statement. Like, there are legal ramifications behind just reporting whatever we want to report. It doesn't work like that. Another thing that I probably learned is sometimes what the story is not the story. Okay? So I'll give you an example. In Atlanta, you got to pay to park everywhere, right? You got to pay to park. And some people will say, well, it's private property, so if they want to charge you to park, that's their business. So the story isn't that paying to park has increased throughout the city of Atlanta. The story now becomes the taxes that are paid to the city of Atlanta from those private businesses. Where is that money going? And why am I having to pay to park everywhere?
Got you.
That, you see what I'm saying? The story is not always the story. It's always another layer to it. And you have to be able to, sometimes people will call and they'll have a good situation. They'll have a good issue. And I learned how to like listen for real. And be like, well, did you get a police report? And they're like, yeah. But did you do this? Yeah. And there's a little list in my head I'm checking off. And I'm like, well, what about this? And see that, and they'll say, and see, that's the thing. Blah, blah, and say in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's the story.
Yeah.
The part that's unclear to them. That's the part that as a viewer, they want me to help them figure out or to shed light upon. So you got to figure it out.
That makes sense. Is it like do I have to like do like meetings and stuff for like what stories gonna get out or don't get out?
We had like pre-editorial meetings. So like when I was at Fox 54, Angela ended up going back to the desk. So we call that meeting like she went back to the anchor desk. She went back on air at a station in Tallahassee. So she left. So when she left, my GM came in, it was general manager, came in and was like, I'm gonna need you to run the editorial meetings and be like the assignment editor on top of typing up their stories and like just filter through and make sure that their pitches are like all lined up. She was like, do you think you can do it? I was like, yeah. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, I figured it out. I mean, hey, I'm moving up in the world.
Yeah.
It's cool. And so basically what that entails is, top of the morning, we might get all together. And because news is 24 hours. So when I say top of the morning, I'm saying after the morning show. The morning show, people come in at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. to get ready for either a 4 a.m. start or a 5 a.m. start. I was coming in at 9. So that's after the morning show where we're now looking toward either our midday or evening or late nights. Okay. So that morning show, that morning editorial meeting, we're talking about, we're comparing what the competition may have that we don't have, what's left out there. And then some of the reporters that were on air, they may come in with just like a story that they want to work on, or they've been talking to somebody, or somebody called them with some information they want to dig on that. My job was to decide, do I let them dig on a maybe, or do I put them on a story that we didn't have, that let's just say JBF had, but it's a good story. Like we're missing that on our site. Like we don't have that. So my job would have to be like, okay, what you got is good. See if they can do that tomorrow, but I really need you to go on this. Okay. I've already like started working on it. I got a statement, but I got the number for this person and you need to call and like set up an interview and talk to them about it. So that was, I had to kind of figure out what was going to be the weight of the show. And when we talk about the weight of the show, like what we open in the show. So, you know, like when new at 6, what's going to be new? What's going to, you know, what's going to be new that's not in the 4 or 5? So I would have to figure out what's an A block story, what's top, what's middle, and what's at the end.
A block being like the best story.
Yes.
Okay. I'm learning terms.
And we'll say, well, what you gonna lead for your 6? What you leading with? Gotcha. So like, you know, today I'm pretty sure news stations here, they probably led with they either led with the
Welcher,
either him.
Yeah.
Well, they probably had 2 lead stories. They led with him, and then they led with the follow-up on the guy getting shot, because it happened before the 11 p.m. So last night, they didn't have any information. This morning, they only had whatever they sent out. So this afternoon for the 4, 5, and 6, between that time, reporters were out getting information. Who is his family? Where is he from? Does anybody want to talk? What are residents saying? You know, that's what we talk about.
For something like that, though, I don't want to get too deep into it. I know everybody know people, so I don't want to talk about, but like, but I use the guy passing away. Something like that. How do you get, well, I can't use that. For other one, how do you get both sides at that point? Like, because one person probably not even saying nothing. There's probably no statements being made right now. You know, so like, do you just go with another news outlet is saying, or do
no?
Or
you never go with another news outlet, because news outlets.
I'm sorry.
I'm teaching you.
You're right. My bad.
But I mean, some people think that. Some people, like I've had PR people say, well, you can't just get it from such and such. Like they may say, well, you can't just get it from JBF. No. They are a competition. I don't even know where they got it from. How can I just go with what they're saying? So you have to do your own confirmation. So like in that case, you know, you might reach out to the city of Atlanta. Since the FBI came, I may reach out to the Atlanta FBI location to see if they can give me any information about it. I still would try to reach out to that individual to see if he wants to give a statement, or if he has any legal representation. Does his lawyer want to talk?
Okay.
But now what I would also be doing, and they probably have done it, I'm filing a FOIA request. Meaning I'm trying to get all your records. I'm trying to look through, because you work for the city, so it's public record. I just have to request it. I'm trying to see, were there any disciplinary actions? How many times was he written up? What type of employee was he? Was this? How long has this been a problem? Because it may be documented in that. So I'm digging deep.
Okay.
And I may not be what I'm digging for may not be a story for today, but because this is gonna keep going, if I can dig in it today and find something that I know nobody else has found, then we can leave with it tomorrow.
You ever had a situation where like you were digging, you found something good, you just kind of like got engulfed in that, but it wasn't like your thing to do? Like you just got like so deep into a story?
Yeah, the YSL trial. Yeah, because I was working at the Atlanta station, so I was in Charlotte when he got arrested. Yeah, I was, because he got arrested in May of 22, I think.
That sounds about right.
Or maybe it was 23, whenever, but it was May. I was in Charlotte. That July, I started in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I'm not from the city, but I'm from Georgia. Yeah. I know who he is. I know YSL. Like, I'm interested. And I basically became the YSL, like, desk person. Like, I would watch trial every day. I would get with our reporters who were covering the trial. I would break down things. I would tell them, like, well, no, the indictment says this, so this means that. But I sent an email to Brian Steele's office, and they said this, and then I reached out to, because, you know, it was a thing like, is Lucci going to testify? Well, I reached out to Drew, and which is his attorney. Drew said, blah, 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 you know. So that's what I had a passion for. It was something that I shared a common interest in as a viewer, and I so happened to work in news. So this is going to be my baby. I'm going to see it through. I didn't necessarily see it through because I ended up leaving before the trial ended, but I'll say this. I will say this, and I love the fact that I knew this. I knew Ghana was taking a plea like 4 hours before the world knew it.
Just from doing your research.
Just from being plugged in.
Gotcha.
I ain't like to the point like I like text like my brother like Ghana finna plead. And he was like, for real? I was like, yeah, just give me a minute, but he's gonna take an Alfred plea. I don't know what it's gonna say, but we got a reporter there, like, I'm gonna let you know. So like sometimes I know stuff. Well, not as much as I used to because I'm not in it anymore.
Yeah.
But like sometimes I kind of know some things before like they really like happen.
What from your time in the news, whether it's in Augusta, Atlanta, Charlotte, what was like what was some hard lessons you learned like within news? Because like you said, I know you said, because I'm asking for somebody that maybe like to talk. Like we said, it's more than just talking.
You're gonna be broke.
Why you say that?
You're gonna be broke. You working your way up. If you are comfortable with working your way up financially, news is fine. There's not a lot of money in news. You know, now our anchors and our talent in Atlanta, yeah, they were making money. But if you ask them to tell you about their story prior to, they might have been in the business for like 10 years before they really like got to the money for real. Wherein like in their contract, wardrobe is a part of their contract. Makeup is a part of their contract. These I don't want to say cats or girls, but these like reporters and stuff here locally in Augusta, they doing their own makeup, they doing their own hair, they buying their own dresses. Most, I would say reporters. Now anchors, they probably have some sort of deal within their contract. I've never really like read an anchor contract before, because most anchors and some big time reporters have agents. So the agent is cutting the deal.
Okay. And I wonder that because a lot of times, that's in Augusta, you'll see a reporter anchor. I'm not sure, or they go from reporter to anchor at some point, but they be here very short. They go somewhere else, so a bigger
They're
market.
on contract 2 years.
Okay.
And so what usually happens is, and I was on a contract as well, but what usually happens is you do a 2 or 3 year contract. You can renew if they want you. They're gonna let you know if they want to keep you. Most of the time, you may get a raise, but you may also go fishing and see what else is out there and see if it's more. That's how I ended up in Charlotte. FXG wanted to keep me. They wanted me to like stay, and they were gonna give me. I gave them a number, and they were cool with like that number. But then I started talking to Charlotte, and so like in news, you got market sizes. Augusta is like, at that time, that was like 105 or something like that. Charlotte was market 25. So we talking about a big jump.
Okay.
So when I started talking to Charlotte, they was talking like 10,000 more.
Okay.
And it's Charlotte.
Just for 2 hours, I mean, that
ain't bad. You know, I mean, now in the grand scheme of things, you'd about 10,000 extra by 12.
But you get to move. It's the experience too.
It's
you get to move over there.
It's
somewhere new.
Yeah. So, but I went back to FXG and said, this is what I got. Can you match that? I want to stay. I would have stayed. I want to stay.
Yeah.
Can you match that though? They couldn't match it. I mean, man, I didn't feel no way about it. It's a smaller station. I kind of understood that was gonna be the risk of it, but that's how I legit, like, seriously ended up in Charlotte. Like, it was about the money. Now, when we talk about reporters and anchors, how I went back to FXG with that deal, most of them who have agents, the agent is doing that.
Yeah, but you had to do it yourself.
I had to do it. Now, I could have gotten an agent. I think somebody would have represented me. But I'm not giving you 3%, 5% of my salary, and I don't really have a salary. You know, I'd be my own agent.
That makes sense. But it makes sense what you're saying, because I always wondered why people, like, not everybody, but some anchors or reporters from Augusta, they come in for a little bit, make the way that they move away. Mm-hmm. But I talked to Carl, and he would tell me the same thing. He said, sometimes it's a stepping stone for a lot of reporters, Augusta, local news is a stepping stone to go somewhere else. You build your catalog, and you go somewhere else, a bigger market.
Right.
So I think it's a girl named Bria. She's a younger girl, but she was on the news. She went to Charlotte too. So
okay.
So that was dope. All right, but your time in the news station, would you like it? Was it good? Like,
I loved it.
Okay. So
some days I miss it.
Just money.
Money,
opportunity.
Time. You working holidays.
I've worked Christmas. Think about that. Yeah.
I've worked Thanksgivings. I've worked New Year's, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Easter Sunday.
But you reported as well.
I reported here.
Okay, so you did
But
produce
when I got, by the
sometime.
time I got to Charlotte and Atlanta, I was just solely digital content assignment desk.
Okay.
Which that's another thing too. Sometimes you end up realizing whatever, like if you're good at all three, one of them may be a quicker path to the money. So you may have a bigger station that's looking at you, but they may say, I just want you to do assignment. That's it. I don't want you to report none of that. We got that figured out. We got people for that. But I'm going to pay you $15,000 more just to come and sit on the desk. I'm coming. I'm on the way.
That makes sense. Well, before I skip over the news, like when you're reporting, like what kind of skill does that take? Because everything you report is different. Some is lighthearted, some is comedy, some is funny, some is serious. Might have depth. If I am mistaken, if I'm overlooking, let me know. But I thought you might have had the report on Kobe Bryant. If I am mistaken, I thought I seen you talk
Kobe
about
had died.
that.
Yeah. So I used to do trending topics. So
yes, that's what it's called. Yes.
I reported on what was trending. And shortly after, I think Kobe died in January?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Or February, one of them.
I'm trying to think. I think, did he die I crossed in 19. He died in 2020.
2020. Yeah, 2020.
So that right after that was COVID.
Yeah.
I stopped doing trending topics. Because like I told my news director, ain't nothing funny right now. Ain't nothing trending. People dying. Let me do what I'm good at, which is the assignment desk, and find stories and try to keep the community safe. Don't nobody care nothing about what's trending on Facebook. I mean, I did. When you got people, you got the governor of New York, I don't know if you remember this, who coming on TV every day reporting deaths.
Yeah.
When I look like at the top of the morning, here's what trending on trending topic. No. Let's keep the community safe. That's your first job in news. Our main focus. That's why in news, the saying is weather is the most important thing we do.
Why is that?
Because it is our responsibility or their responsibility to inform viewers for any weather threats. Whether, we talk about radio, people who are on radio, people who are on television, newspaper, Twitter, whatever platform those news outlets may be on, weather is the most important thing they would do. Because if a hurricane is coming or if a tornado is coming, who do you think tells you that?
Yeah, the news, yeah.
So that weather trumps everything. That's why you may see like wall-to-wall coverage and we just keep talking about the same storm. But that's because right now that's the most important thing. We talking about high winds, we talking about whatever, hail or
you
whatever.
You was at Fox, right? You said Fox, yeah.
Fox 54? Mm-hmm.
You know Jay Jeffries?
Right.
How's he?
He's good.
Okay, that's what's up. I like Jay Jeffries.
Jay know everybody. Jay has saved the day. Jay saved the day on a lot of stories.
I like Jay Jeffries.
Because he knew people and we may be calling people and they not answering the phone for us. And I could go in the studio and be like, Jay, we trying to do this story. They not answering the phone. Can you call them? People like, now, Jay didn't move for everybody. He would move for me. I was one of the favorites. But he would be like, okay, just give me a minute. Let me see what I can do. And he would come back to my desk and be like, tell them, like, let's just say the reporter, tell the reporter they need to be here at 3:00. They'll be there at 3:00.
What's up?
So, yeah.
So, I guess you being in news and in media, how important is building and kind of keeping relationships?
It's important. I mean, it works for me even still. Like, even though I've like transitioned over to like corporate, but relationships are the core, man. What people say, most important deals are done on the golf course. How you think they get them people on the golf course?
Yeah,
they just don't know them and they say, hey, you want to go golfing? No, it's some sort of relationship that they formed, whether it's at a networking space or via email where they're chatting all the time, or meetings, or like from news perspective, you're my source. I don't tell nobody you the one who told me. You know what I'm saying? You might whistleblow something. I know who told it. I ain't telling nobody who told, and then that person becomes trusted. They'll call you every day. Oh, this going on. That's going on. Blah, blah, blah. I had people like in Atlanta, they used to be like, you just give your number out to everybody who called. Yeah, you know why? Because when stuff going on in DeKalb, the little lady that be riding around being nosy, she going, girl, now what is going on over here on Panola Road? And they'll be like, I don't know, send me some pictures. I never met this lady a day in my life. But she felt like, I got the girl number at the news.
Yeah.
I can just call her and she gonna tell me what's going on. And then, like, I mean, it works. It works.
But that's another thing too. I guess I go back into building relationships though, but like you gotta be accessible to the people. I guess at some point, because a lot of y'all relationships, a lot of y'all intel come from people that's there and that do see it. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so to tap into that, that's what I was gonna say earlier. When you were talking about like what I learned in news, I was gonna talk about how I was working in news one day in Atlanta. I got a call. The desk, like our desk was like big. So like if this is my desk, it probably was like 6 other desks around me of my department. Like everybody answered the phone, everybody wrote stories. So I'm sitting there and my phone rings. I answer it. The guy's like, why y'all not in Conyers? It's a guy up here that is holding his kid hostage, SWAT here, it's helicopters. Like, y'all need to be down here. First thing I say, you got any pictures? Because Atlanta, the coverage area of when I was in Atlanta, it was so big that if people could show me what was going on before I decided if I was going to send somebody, it would kind of help me figure out like what's. I could look. Sometimes I could look at stuff and be like, oh no, man, that's just a crash.
Yeah,
like it looks fine. And so he sent me as he was sending me a picture. Like I hung up the phone, he sent me the picture. I could hear the other phone, because the thing about working in news is that you learn how to listen to everything. So the scanner's going on, it's 4:00, we on air. My phone ringing, it's people talking, but I can hear the other phone ringing on the other side. I hear my coworker pick up the phone, and he kind of like gets snarky with the guy, and he like hang up. And I think somebody next to him, because my back is turned, but I'm still like listening, and I'm working on getting somebody to Conyers. I'm multitasking basically. And I hear him say, some guy just called and said that him and his son are locked up in a hotel room and SWAT is like banging on the door. And I said, sir, I hope your day gets better. And so like, I'm listening. And I'm like, that's Buddy. Like that's the guy who called that's the guy that they just called me about.
Right.
So like I get up and I'm like, call him back. So I press redown. I'm calling back. I grab the phone. I'm like, hey, this is Mikaela with, blah, blah, blah. What's going on? I used to get on the phone, I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, I'm in my hotel room with my son. He's autistic or he has autism, and the police are out there and I'm not coming out. And I was like, well, sir, what's going on? And I was telling this is him. Like I got the guy that's holding his son hostage. I'm talking to him on the phone. I'm about to figure out what's going on.
Negotiator.
And that's what ended up happening. I ended up staying on the phone with him for like 3 hours.
Oh, for real?
And like, I'm on the phone with him. Rockdale County, which is Conyers, they on the phone with me telling me what to tell him, because I built a relationship with him. But like, he telling me everything. He crying. He telling me what's going on. He telling me why he had a bad day. It was something like they had cut his benefits. His wife had just died like a year or two ago. His girlfriend at the time just broke up with him. The child has autism. Like, he was having a bad day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end, like what he did was not right, but he legit was just having a bad day. And he was African American, and his biggest fear was like, if I open this door, I think they're gonna kill me. And I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. Like, you'll be fine. And I was like, that's why I'm on the phone with you. You hear those helicopters? Those are my choppers. Like, I'm just trying to talk him through it, because I'm like, you got your kid in there. You know what I mean? Like, we got to get the kid. Like, I had enough sense to know that we got to get the kid out. But that incident was one of the reasons why I was like, it's time for me to get out of this.
I was going to ask you, I said, even as good as it sounds, that sound like, imagine you go home that day. You can't really go home that day. It's like, I'm thinking about that all day. I was
worried about the kid. Like, the sheriff department for Rockdale County, like, they had representatives that ended up coming to the station like a few days later, just to tell me like, thank you and stuff. But like, I literally was like, where the kid at? Like, what happened to the kid? But it was just one of those things. So when I first started news, I was on my first scene. This like person had got like hit on the bike, dead body, laying in the road. And I remember just like looking at it, like thinking like, oh, this is crazy.
Wait, looking at what? The body?
The body. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm close. I can see it.
So sometimes when y'all reporting, the body's still out there.
Yeah.
But you gotta just go roll like nothing happened.
You gotta say, like, if you got a camera guy, or like, even when I was in Atlanta and I was working the desk, so we had a helicopter in Atlanta. So we would send chopper to like fly over stuff. And sometimes they may get there like just as police is setting up a perimeter and the body is like still out there. And we getting ready to take this live.
Wow.
So we having to tell Chopper like, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. And they be like, oh yeah, I saw it. I thought there was a body. Cause sometimes they be bloody, you know, you can't really tell. We could tell, but
is that something you want in the shot?
no, I almost said a bad word. I can cuss.
Yeah, you said
hell nah, you don't want that. Hell no. Like, no. That is like, no. No. So, but because sometimes it's raw and we're taking it live, as the chopper is riding around and they trying to see where the scene is, they just looking because they're scanning, but because it's being fed back to the station, we're watching. The desk is seeing like, oh, okay, that's what's going on.
Got you.
So we would see it first. And then, of course, if we take it on air, you're not seeing the dead body, but we know the body still in the car or the body on the side of the road.
Another thing, just on a tangent, but I'm listening to everything you're saying. So you mentioned like sometimes before you send somebody, you would say, send me a picture.
Yeah.
Is that how sometimes like I say in tweets more than anything, it'd be like, oh, shooting at whatever, and then you'll see a picture in it, but it'll be like the crime scene, and then you think that's from like a person sending to the news station, or you think the news actually did?
Or the news got there in time.
Okay.
One of the two, yeah.
Made me wonder now,
because I would tell reporters like when I was in Augusta, they would go out. I would tell them like, send me a picture when you get there, because I need a picture for the web story.
Gotcha.
So like my phone used to be filled of like crime scene photos. So I'm just like, I just had to like, once it got to the point that sending somebody to a shooting, like let's just say it's a slow day. A slow day would be like kind of like a day like today. Weather's nice, everybody's happy, nothing's going on. We ain't really got no news. It's the Friday before Memorial Day, everybody traveling. That's like the biggest thing. There's somebody calling and say like 2 people just got shot. And I think a 6-year-old is in the house. Like just a crazy story. Mm-hmm. It would be times where I'd be like, yes. And I'd be like, I mean, not yes, but we got something. You know what I mean? But like, I had to kind of like start checking myself like, it ain't nothing to be happy about. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you need to reel yourself back in. And then like how you were saying, like, sometimes I would come home, but I would work so late. Sometimes I would like come home, I wouldn't even have time to like process what happened. Yeah. It's just like me go home, take a shower, go to bed, because I got to be back at work.
I was going to ask you that the day you had to talk to the guy for 3 hours, like what time was it and what time you supposed to got off?
I think I was supposed to got off at like 6. I stayed till like 8. And I got home. I remember that day I didn't feel like talking to nobody. More so because like I had talked for like 2 hours. So I didn't really feel like talking to nobody. Came home, took a shower. I think I watched like something on like Netflix, like something that was like light. Yeah. And then I just like went to sleep because it's just like a part of me was like, okay, Kayla, you did a good deed. But then a part of me was, I think I've kind of become like numb towards like tragedy. Yeah. Stuff be like effed up. And I'm like, dang, that's tough. But like the saying like, niggas die every day. Like I really like sometimes feel like that. Like people die every day. Like,
especially in that line of work too.
And I don't like feeling like that. Because some people who have died, I should be a little bit more compassionate about. You know what I mean? Yeah. I shouldn't be that numb to it. I know these people or I know the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I just be like, oh dang, that's sad. That's tough. Or I may have a moment where like I might like cry for like 2 seconds and just thinking about it, and then I'm like, okay, what I gotta do? You know, it's just like that. I just know it was dehumanizing me.
That's what I was gonna ask. I wonder like how somebody feels like when it's your job. So like you do something so much throughout a time period, like it just become the norm. Yeah. So you hear, a shooting, a person dead, you just like, okay, well it's business as usual. It's business. You're not thinking like somebody lost their life, somebody's mom is affected forever.
The active shooter Midtown, 2 blocks away from the station. Everybody freaking out. I'm in there like, I literally said, I need everybody to lock the F in. Yeah. Lock in.
You start getting so work minded. You ain't thinking about
this. I ain't thinking they don't know what a man is right down the street. He can come in here and just do whatever. I'm not worried about that. I'm trying to get this on air before such and such do.
And it's so crazy. You think about, like you said, like the news is to report and then make sure the community's safe. And it's like, you even think about your own community or just yourself in that essence, because you're so busy trying to get it back on camera and get the news story out that you're not thinking about your own well-being. So, well, I mean, I guess it's ups and downs to the reporting business depending on what you experience too. So yeah. So when coming out of the news, I did see like on your Instagram you was like life after the newsroom or it was something like that. So we'll talk about life after that. What does that look like for you now?
It's great. It's great. It's great. I got a lot of time to do a lot of things.
I can't say I ever seen you not happy, but you seem happy. So, you know, and I can tell you like what you're doing.
Well, people who close to me say I'm happier
Okay.
now. They say I used to be mean.
I can see that, but I ain't see it.
But
But
I can see it. Like when they say it and I think about it, I'm like, okay, I can see where you get that from. But it's great. Great job, work for a great company.
How'd that come about? Like, I'd be curious.
You want to really know how it
story.
came about? Like, really and truly, I was sitting in an editorial meeting, and I thought to myself, I'm bored. I'm tired of doing this every day.
Slow news day.
It wasn't even slow news day that day. It was just that by the time I got to Atlanta, I was so good at my job, like it was no challenge.
Got you.
And so like I always been big on like, if I start to hit that ceiling, I gotta go up a little bit more. Cause if not, I'm cramming.
Get you comfortable.
I don't want to feel like that. And I text my friend and I was like, I think I want to get out of news. And they text back and was like, and do what? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm sitting in this meeting and I'm over it. You know, like it's ran its course. I was 32 at the time. I wasn't married. I'm not married now. I didn't have kids. I still don't have kids. And I started to feel like one of the reasons why I probably didn't have either of those was because of my work life. That I was always working. I'm not gonna find no husband in no newsroom. He ain't there. Because everybody here for work, you know. I definitely can't have kids in the newsroom because
probably not. That's how
But right. And so I just started to look, and it was one of those things where I don't know if you heard me when I said earlier, like everything that I got is what I asked for.
Yeah,
I got it the way that I asked for it, like on a spiritual level. So when I applied to the job, I remember, going into that year, so that was last year, so that was going into 2024, my prayer was for God to enlarge my territory. Like that was a part of my daily prayer. Lord, enlarge my territory, make me as big as you want me to be. If the box is too small, make me big. Like I wanted more money. That's what I really wanted. But I knew I couldn't ask God for that because that may not be what he wanted for me. So I just wanted him to enlarge my territory, make my reach longer, and make me as big as you want me to be. And so when I applied for the job, I remember praying and I was like, God, if this is what you see for me, give it to me. If I'm being greedy, if I'm reaching at straws and I need to stay put, don't give it to me. And if you won't give it to me, and if you don't give it to me, I'll know that this is where I'm supposed to be. And I'll be fine with it because I was good at the job. So I'll be cool with it. And went through some interview processes. I went through like 3 rounds of interviews. All of them were an hour long. And I remember thinking like, Lord. And they were like all virtual. And I'm still praying. Enlarge my territory. Make me as big as you want me to be. If this is not what you want from me, don't give it to me. And so then when I got the offer, I was like, okay, God, if this is not what I'm supposed to be doing, like, let me know. And I had a moment with God where I basically was telling him, like, I don't want to jump for something after you've given me everything that I wanted. Because I don't want you to look at me and think that I'm not grateful for what you've done for me. Because sometimes as humans, we get greedy. And then we start kind of reaching for too much. And I didn't know if God was going to feel like, and this is just me from a human aspect. Of course, spiritually, I should know better than this. But I didn't want God to feel like, now you asked me to go to school near Atlanta. I didn't get you in Atlanta. I got you Clayton State. You asked me to major in communications. I got you that. You asked to work in news. I got you that. You wanted to start local. I got you that. You got Charlotte. I got you in Atlanta, which is a top 10 market. Now you telling me you don't want that. You want to go do something else? Because I thought that's what he was going to say.
Right.
So I just wanted God to know, like, I'm not being selfish. I just feel like I need to be doing something different. Like if this needs to be a shift, like let me know. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna take the job. And so I took the job, and like a constant reminder of just God, like fulfilling promises and things is that even still, like I remember before I got out of news, like this is crazy. When I be driving in my car, I be thinking about it. But before I got out of news, I remember like telling my best friend, I was like, one day when I get right, like when I'm really making like buku amount of money, like I guess in my head, I was thinking like, because I never had to buy a car. So I was just like, when I get a lot of money, I'll buy me a car because the car I got, like, it's cool, it's paid for, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I had a Honda at the time. I still do. But I told her, I was like, you know, when I really have to, like, buy my own car, I'm going to get a gold Bronco, like yellow gold. I'm going to lift it up, and I'm going to put SDCHW on the front. And she was like, that's what you want? Because SDCHW is like a Thompson basketball thing, self-discipline, concentration, hard work.
Okay.
And so I was like, that's just what I want. Like, I'm gonna keep the Honda because the Honda paid for. This gonna be my like slider. I'm gonna still slide in the Honda, but I just really want, that's what I want. I want my Bronco to look like that. Started working for the company. One day I'm like, let's just go look at cars. At that particular time, they had kind of discontinued the yellow, but they had an all white. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get all white. I'm gonna do this. But at the time, I'm not even thinking about the conversation I had with her.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like, I'm about to get me a car. I'm gonna have a car now. I'm a big girl now. Like, and I still got my Honda. Like, whatever. Fast forward, I got a white Bronco, lifted up, mud tires, and my tag say SDCHW. Like, I did it the way that I wanted to do it. So saying that to say, like, legit, everything that I have prayed for, the way that I said I want it like this is how I wanted it to happen, God. Like, God gave me that. So when I switched and then when I pivoted into like corporate, I was scared because it's like, ain't no way you gonna give me this too. Like, you really gonna like rock with me on that? Like, you cool with me switching over? But it just was time. It was time to like just go into a different space. Time to be off on holidays. And I'm big on like moving the finish line. Like, that's something my brother talk about a lot, is like moving the finish line. Like, once you complete one task, like move the finish line again. So you can keep crossing the finish line.
Yeah.
But like, don't just cross the finish line one time. Like, keep crossing it. So
stop.
that's just kind of like where I'm at.
That's dope, man. So as far as like what you do, like how would you describe what you do now? I know you said it earlier, but that's why I wanted to bring it back.
I tell people on a high level that my job is to get the bride down the aisle. And as soon as the bride is walking down the aisle, I'm thinking about the next event. Now, in terms of automobiles, my job is to plan events that are like around vehicles. So like, let's just say it's a 2025 Bronco. You know what I mean? So we may do what we call a media drive, where we get automotive journalists to come out to whatever location. So we may be up in like Moab, Utah or something, where you got the scenic route and you got the off-road where you can kind of show the features of the vehicle. We may have like 3 or 4 ways of automotive journalists that come in and they drive the vehicle and then they write up about it.
Okay.
Or we may have, like I did the 2025 expedition reveal at the State Fair of Texas. We did like this huge drone show where like we revealed it. Like, nobody had seen it. We revealed it. We do media briefings where we may like have you like something like, like a studio that we're in today. Like, we can bring a car in, just have it sitting here, get like one of our engineers to talk about like the design and things like that. And then media going right about that. So I basically create experiences for media surrounding our vehicles.
Okay. And then when media talk about it, that's kind of like a promotion, I guess, for the vehicle, or just
well,
word of mouth.
It's not even a promotion. You know why? Because they can write that they hate it.
Got you.
We can't, so we can't tell them what to write about.
Okay.
Which is why
publicity, I guess. I'm sorry.
Right, but which is why my job is so important, because I have to curate an experience that also speaks to the vehicle.
Got you. So it's a positive feedback y'all get.
Right. So, because I mean, like, why would we do a Bronco media drive in Manhattan? That's not going to speak to the feature of the car. I got to take you off road. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Like that. So those are the things that my team, we talk about. Like, we want to do whatever, it may be a Mustang or something that's coming out. I'm working with the communications manager for Mustang to just figure out what are the features we want to highlight. What are some good areas? Where do Mustangs sell? Like, what's a good selling area for a Mustang? Like, the reason why we chose State Fair of Texas is because Expedition sells really well in Texas.
So you gotta do a lot of kind of I guess work as far as like analysis work. Like what does this brand sell good at? Like sell well at. Let's maybe do something over there.
I don't have to do the work of
Or
finding the
request it
results.
rather.
But I can reach out to, because the company's so big. I mean, there's a team that does that, and I can ping them, like, can you give me the numbers for sales for this brand and like areas that is doing really well at, you know? And then we kind of can figure it out.
That makes sense. So this is just me asking. It's nothing to do with this, but like, do you have to know about the car a lot? Do you feel like you have to learn about the car a lot?
No. And that's one thing they told me when I was interviewing. You don't have to know. I mean, we want you to know a little bit, but you don't have to know. And I kept thinking like, man, I don't know nothing about nothing. Like, all I know is news. That is all I know.
That's funny.
And what I have learned is as you go into this space and you talk, because I'm talking to design engineers, you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking to the person who can tell me why they move the vent from up top to the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can ask them, so why did y'all do that? And they can tell me, well, because blah, blah, and with the aerodynamics, da, da, da. So you learn by just asking. So it go back to what we were saying about relationships. So that still translates even now in my role, like just learning about relationships and being comfortable enough to ask the engineer, can you tell me about this? Or tell me about that? Or what are some, like, why did you do that?
I think it's dope because like we were saying, I know I've said it, I know you agree when I said it, like communication is just more than just talking. And I think even what you're saying, what you do now is like, it's not just what you're saying, it's where you're saying it at, the room you're saying it in,
right?
Who you're saying it to, you know, how they might perceive it, what you perceive what they say, back and forth, so on and so forth. Because then you say you did it in Texas for a certain reason. So it might have been successful anywhere, but it was real successful because it was in Texas where it made sense to have those kind of conversations or that communication.
Yeah.
So I think that's dope too. Just knowing that part of the talk. Like I said, I'm big on that. Just I feel like even with what I do, like podcasts, I'm pretty sure you know people. I'm sure you could do it if you wanted to do it, but it's a lot of people that do it that probably shouldn't do it. They just you can buy a camera now, you know, so you can say you do it, but it's not effective. It's not true communication. It's or good communication. Right? Let me just say that it might be bad communication. And I think when I look at like people that's in that field, whether it's news anchors, I always try to talk to them because I feel like y'all know so much because y'all be in so many different situations. I learn from y'all from talking to y'all anyway.
Right.
So I became two birds with one stone having conversations with you because I'm thinking, okay, what would I do if I was on the phone with a guy 3 hours and he's about to do this or he might do that? That's a different level of communication. You know, I know you kind of talk over it because you was there, but 3 hours, 2 hours on the phone this is a real life thing. This is that's deeper than just talking. That's
right. I know everything about you.
You have to use your words wisely, your tone, realize his tone, you know, match his tone, bring him back down. That's more than just I'm just talking. That's really it's art, you know.
You're right. I remember I was I'm not gonna say dating because you got to like do something.
You don't like that word, do you?
But I don't. I was talking to this guy one time and he was just talking. Like I'm picking him. Like I know I'm working him. I'm picking him. And I remember he said to me, "You don't ask me everything about me, but I don't know nothing about you." And I was just like, "Oh, that's just how it is." Like that's the art of communication. Like I know how to communicate.
Yep.
So I know how to sit there and make you tell me everything about you. I can tell, and by the end of that conversation, I'm gonna know what you're interested in, what you're not interested in, and you're gonna walk away and be like, I really don't remember her name, but I just know she said she was from Thompson. You know what I mean? Like, and I walk away and I just like know everything, and I may like tell my homegirl like, yeah, girl, so I seen him and I asked him this, and then he said blah blah blah, and then you remember about that such and such? He said that, and people be like, how you get people to tell you? My nickname is Chatty Cathy.
Chatty Cathy, I'm right there.
Because they say like no matter where I'm at, like if we go out to eat or we out or whatever, like I'm like the next person to me could be a stranger, but I'm gonna like end up like knowing everything about them by just like talking. Like conversation rule the nation.
No, I think so, and I have that. My kids, they sometimes like it, sometimes they don't like it. They be like, "You have a lot of questions, Daddy," but it's something I like to do. I just like doing it, and everything you just said just now, I think. You know, when you talk to somebody and you ask them questions about themselves, I think sometimes too, a lot of times people don't get to talk about themselves a lot too. And they don't realize that. So when you are asking them questions, they feel intrigued. Now they're more prone to tell you more stuff.
Right.
I think the most important thing you said today, when I first talked to you, was like, you got to listen.
Yeah.
And I think even in communication, I think we think and talk, but so much of communication is listening to that. So that's also a lost art because you thinking you talk back to me, but listen to what I'm saying first.
Yeah.
That's why I can ask you a question on the fly. I'm like, well, let me pivot here, let me pivot here, let me pivot here. 'Cause I'm listening to everything you're saying.
Yeah.
And I write stuff down, then I go back. But that listening part is a true art to communication as well. It's not just talking and how you can talk and what words, what big words you can use. It's bigger than that. But being able to really listen and analyze and then ask questions that can tell you that you're listening, you know? So I think it's a big deal though. I mean, I know it's hard for everybody to do, but I sit there and watch you talking, stuff you're talking about. I know that you kind of got that in you too.
Yeah, you gotta listen. I don't
choice.
even like talking to people who don't listen.
It bothers me.
Yeah,
Definitely
I mean,
bothers me.
because what we talking about?
Yeah, because
you ain't even listening.
like for me, when I'm on the phone with somebody, they be like, I understand. I feel like that means I need to get the phone with you.
I don't even play that, especially like in terms of like just like business, whether it's, you know, like communications and like stuff like that. Like, or people sometimes may like call and like ask my opinion about stuff, and I may be like, oh, you should do this or you should do that. Da, da, da. First of all, what I'm telling you, I really should be charging you for.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you about not you, but like whoever it may be. I'm telling you a way to do something. And I've done it this way so many times. I know if you do it this way, you're going to be successful.
Right.
So if I'm telling you something, and then when I see whatever it is that you did, and it's not how I told you to do it, I'm not telling you anything else.
I'm the same way. I got a reel about that,
but I told
him, like, I don't like giving up, because I'm going to give advice. I'll give it to you. But I feel like if I take the time all day to really break it down and give it to you, I'm not trying to be that person saying, you got to do what I say, but I want you to do it.
I want you to do it not because I want to tell you what to do.
Yeah, not that.
I want you to do it because you came to me and you asked me about that because you knew I knew how to get it done.
Yeah.
So if I'm telling you something and you go and you do it the way you want to do it and it don't work, I don't want to hear about it. It's your fault.
You're wasting my time enough now. So at that point, I can't help you.
Sorry. So sorry that happened to you.
No, for real.
So that, I mean, listening is important. Like, you have to listen. You have to lock in. You got to focus. Like, that is one of the keys to success. It's 1,000 keys to success, and I don't think I've unlocked half of them.
You mentioned the Mikaela Thomas TV. Do you plan on like bringing that back up or kind of playing with that again? Or
some days I think about it.
I know time. Like I said, you got more time now, so you don't want to kill that with that. But I'm just thinking like it's certain people I be feeling like it's always a space or a void or a voice for them in social media as far as like content and stuff like that. And even though you're doing your own thing with your job and stuff, I just feel like you can always do that. Like, you got the voice for it. You can speak. You can project.
Some days I think about it. That's like a really tough question. Some days I think about it, but then I know what it's gonna take for me to do it, because I don't want to do anything like half.
Got you. Yeah.
And it's just like the way technology is today, I know I can't do it by myself. You know what I mean?
Got you.
And if I know I can't do it by myself, then that means I gotta trust somebody or something to like do it with me. And that's the hard part. You know what I mean? So like some days, like people be like, when you gonna do another alumni game, or when you gonna do this, or when you should do that, or we need this. And it's like, it's easy to say what y'all want, but y'all don't know how hard it is to give it to y'all.
Yeah.
It's just like when people be talking about, well, not that be talking about it, but like Moses with the whole like Freaknik thing, and people were like complaining about this or complaining about that. Man, do y'all know how hard that is to like put on something? Which I would guarantee you, one of the reasons why when he first probably started doing it, why he didn't charge, was because he didn't want to deal with y'all.
Yeah.
So he just said, I ain't gonna charge. If I don't charge, I ain't gotta deal with hearing nobody. My people can just come out, they can have a good time. I'll pay for it, I'll get it done. But now, because it has grown off of its success, he has every reason to say, this stuff costs. I don't know why y'all think there was no cost into any of what was happening, but like, saying that to say, satisfying people from a creative standpoint, it's a cost to that.
Yeah.
Whether that be the years that, just using him as an example, the years that he did it, he probably ended up in the red, but everybody had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Or the years that he decided to, put a cost on it, he had to deal with the scrutiny behind it and still pray that everything goes smooth. Because now, if nothing works, everybody gonna keep talking about it.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's a cost It's a cost to being great.
Yeah, whether
You know
it's
what I mean?
mentally, physically, financially,
cost.
it's so many different ways it can cost you.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you mention him and say that because he supposed to come on here a week ago or right before it happened,
Mhm.
but because all that stuff happened one random day when all that stuff happened, I think he was just the word I got was overstimulated. But
Yeah.
I get it. He had a lot going on, so I was like, hey, if he's not right, I don't want to come on
Right.
because or he said the wrong thing. I don't want him to say the wrong
Right.
thing, and so we didn't do it. But even that, you think about like you can't even do your press run for your stuff because you got other stuff going on because they mad for this and mad for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely understand that from that point of view. So yeah, but maybe I'll get him on. You mentioned the sheriff earlier too, and I think that's odd. That was strange because he supposed to come on Tuesday. So we'll see.
Well, shout out to him.
Yeah,
I
I
don't want no
know.
problem.
No, me neither. Hell no. I'm trying
They
to
say
get
it's strict. They say they got strict over here, but yeah.
I know it is, but I just if you law about it, you be all right.
Yeah,
So,
you doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, but yeah, it was. Like I said, I like talking to people that actually got some stuff going for themselves. I feel like you got a lot of stories that you probably still can tell. Like I still like even though we talked for almost 2 hours, I feel like it's still so much more of you can kind of tell and spread and people can learn from. But I do like the fact that you did everything the way you wanted to do it. I think that's what I took from the most and you speaking. Did it your way, even though you could have easily said, yo, hey daddy, can you? Hey daddy, can you? Hey, did your own thing. Like,
well, people
dope.
say people think I could have done that.
You know, it's funny. And me not knowing you, I don't know you like that, right? I thought the same thing. I have no reason to think that.
Nah.
But because I felt like certain people, because I've heard y'all speak of y'all parents.
Yeah.
I just assumed that they were those kind of parents that just made sure y'all had everything.
No, we didn't have everything. I mean, I grew up in a 3 bedroom, 1 bath home. I mean, it probably was like, I mean, I ain't saying it like on no struggle tip, but I'm saying like it's not like we grew up like in a mansion or something like that. I didn't have a garage. I ain't had none of that, so we got what we needed.
Yeah.
But I ain't never got everything I wanted. And I think unfortunately people think that. I don't know why they think that. Cause I don't know why they think all I want would be a Honda Accord. You get what I'm saying? Like that ain't what I want. Like I got what I needed to do what I had to do. My parents are great parents. They've been blessed and they've like passed it on to my brother and I. But it's never just given. I'm not. People will call me Muffin from Arthur. I just can't call Daddy. Like no matter what it looked like, I can't call him. Cause he gonna say no.
But a lot of times people don't see the hard work either. Like they not seeing your day-to-day grind and things, the sacrifices you make and things you do. Like even the move. Some people scared to move because they don't want to leave where they from or they don't want to be.
Well, it's just like this one guy told me, made perfect sense. It's like seeing a car go down the road. It look good, driving seem like it appears that it's driving straight. It's good, but you don't know the hell that's going on in the inside of it. You know what I mean? And so it looked like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's how it is. But now that is the key to life, is knowing that what it looks like is what people will speak of versus than what it is. And some people can be like, oh, well, that mean you putting on a facade. Oh, this mean no. That don't mean none of that. I just know you paying attention.
It means you're aware. That's all. I don't think they're wrong with that.
I read the room.
Somebody got to do it.
You know what I mean? So if you think that of me,
before.
Whatever people think of me, I say it like this. I have met people who know me, Coach Thompson, they know me, right? And then they'll like sit down and be in a room where like I'm having a conversation about something or whatever. And they'll be like, I didn't know you was this cool. I thought you was stuck up, or I thought this, or I thought that. And I'd be like, yeah, that's what they think. But some of those people who say that, you ain't never talked to me.
Yeah.
You can't tell me one thing I've ever said to you. You know what I'm saying? Then when you talk to me, and I love to hear people tell me that, because it reminds me that I really am genuinely who I am. And when people really get to know that part of me, they're gonna ride for it. They're gonna understand it. They're gonna be like, she's not that bad. She's not like that. Like, no, then they become people that can kind of vocalize my thoughts and be like, no, she didn't mean it like that. She just saying blah, blah, blah. But sometimes people can't speak for me. And the only way they can is if they kind of are around me.
That makes sense. I did think, like I said, I think the main thing is I see a person who, born and raised from Thompson, Georgia, and whether you're from there, not from there, live there, know about it, don't know about it. Everybody got their own perception of it, but to see like how far you've gone and where you're going. Even I talked David, shout out to David B. I sent a screenshot. I said I'm about to have her on because he
What'd he
wanted
say?
to. He said, I'm gonna read it to you. He said that he said you had a bright future too. And David don't talk like that. I don't know what he had going. That's not how he talk. He just
Then he put it through Chat GPT.
yeah, that's great. Yo, shout out to David, man. But let me see. I tested him today, matter of fact. Oh my God.
David is my guy.
That's the man right there. Okay, here you go. Yeah, he said she done beefed a little with Mike Gibb. That's what he said. But he did say, that's my girl though. She dope and she got a bright ass future. That's what he said. Bright ass future. Yeah.
I ain't beefing with nobody.
Probably just comment. They no telling, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you want to get somebody on here that be beefing with people for real?
Maybe, I don't know. It depends. I don't want no drama.
It ain't gonna be no drama, but they got y'all talking about I'm opinionated.
Who's opinionated?
It's two people I feel like you can get. You can get Jarrell Stevenson because I don't know what you seen today. I'm thinking
Rel ain't gonna do it.
He ain't gonna do it. Okay.
Me and Rel too much like he know he ain't gonna do it.
Man, you can get Reggie. Get Reggie on here.
I said, oh yeah, I want to be friends with him, but I said it today. I said,
you can do it at the shop.
I gotta re-interview him.
Yeah,
I interviewed him years ago. At the same place, yeah, years ago, but he wasn't as vocal.
Yeah, he vocal now.
Yeah,
he be talking that. He talking that talk. Yeah. Like I find myself like in the comments, like reading it. Like
you gotta see I said that today. I said, yo, when I see his name, I hit
see
view
your
more.
post. Yeah,
I hit view more all day.
I gotta see what he's talking about because sometimes like. He may say something and the initial comment, I'm like, I don't know, Reggie. Then like I read it and I'm like reading his point. I'm like, okay, I see where you coming from.
He come around to it eventually. Yeah.
It's
if you want to win with him, you got to say okay and let him have it.
Let him have it.
If he can go back and forth, he'll make his point.
He says a lot of things that I think gets our generation talking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whether you agree, and that's the power of agreeing to disagree.
Yeah.
Some people don't have it, but you got to be able to do that.
I ain't gonna lie, I know you ain't gonna hear this now, but I went to school down here. I moved down here and Reggie was in 10th grade. We in the same grade. And my first ever introduction to Thompson, they were playing Thompson that day.
Who was?
Butler. This is in 2005, maybe 6. And I ain't never seen it happen before, even to this day. But
you was at Thompson?
It was at Thompson.
I already know where you're going. Go ahead.
And Tron, my cousin, he bounced the ball. He was short and he caught it and two guys tried to block it and they fouled him and he dunked it. But they was already up by like 45 points, whatever. And like everybody from Thompson just left the gym. I never seen that day in my life. I was like, that is crazy. Now they meant to, but it was all good though. But I always say like seeing what I seen like later on in life.
Yeah.
I was like, I would have never guessed that was the same school.
Yeah.
It could have been a bad, but then also that was a good team. They went to state.
I mean, Butler was.
But that was just.
So that was with like Ricky and
like that. I don't know who from y'all, but I know Austin, Steve, and Brent. Calvin, Reggie,
yeah.
They came in and swarmed it real quick.
That was before Reggie transferred.
Yep, yeah.
So is he gonna? So when you show him this, is he gonna smile?
Both.
Is he gonna smile off of this, or he gonna smile about Glen Hills?
Both. He did both last time. He do. You know, he did 2 and 2. He just won't want to stay that one. That's all. Can't knock him for that.
He was the first.
Yeah, he was the first.
He started like I'm just saying like that's probably a conversation for another day because we've been chatting. But I'm saying like way before like it was like a thing. Now I'll say this though, when he did it, I don't know what the conversation was here. I guess because social media was like not like a big thing. Mm-hmm. But when he did it, didn't nobody feel no way about it. Like to the point that ain't nobody like hated him for it. Whereas in like now when kids do it, you know what I'm saying? Like they get like, depending on where they go, they might get like hate for real. Yeah,
you're right. I think he said one person that hate him was the coach. Obviously, the coach tried to get him jammed up, but for all the people, no, nobody. It wasn't a thing. It didn't happen often, you know.
Right, it didn't happen often. So
but it made sense if you think about what his ceiling, what it was, and his future, and what he was doing. It didn't make sense for him to do Butler. Butler for what?
Yeah,
to have all that stardom and stuff, and then just have it Trump. It was gonna be horrible. It didn't matter. Right. Reggie's nice, but it was gonna be horrible. Yeah, just point blank period. So Now going with them two, I don't know about that, but he could have anywhere else. But it's fine. It worked out for him.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it worked out for him.
Worked out, so it's cool.
Yeah, but this was dope, man. I enjoyed talking to you, having this conversation. I think it's gonna be good. I got a lot of good parts in it too. I got a lot of notes. You see my notes? I got a lot of notes.
I think we did good. Because I don't even know what time it is. So it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, about that time. But yeah, man, this is dope. I definitely appreciate you coming through. Tell if you want them to tell them. I don't know if you want to, but tell them where they can follow you at, or how you. I don't know if you do that now. If you give your social media out or what you want.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can follow me on.
See there. every app is different. I'm different on Snap than I am on IG than I am on Facebook.
They can follow me on Instagram.
That's
you
the
ain't got to
safest
put
one.
this in there. This is like off the record. I don't be liking people to add me on Facebook because they'll add me on the book. Well, I guess you can't put this on here, but they'll add me on like Facebook and stuff. And then like when the season starts, like they'll post stuff about my daddy. And I think that's weird.
That's the only thing about
it's
social
like
media.
You added me.
But I don't know. The only thing I would say is I don't think people be cognizant of who they friends with on social media sometimes. And they just post stuff. I know you probably think like everybody should just know I'm this person, that. But sometimes you're not thinking about the person.
Yeah, I mean, they just sometimes people just be saying their opinion and stuff. Funny. But what I'm saying is, like, hypothetically speaking, if you add me from this episode, you know.
They can add you because they think.
But then sometimes people think it's innocent. They don't,
some guys don't add based on what you're saying. They add based on how you look anyway. So that don't matter. First off, now I see if a girl joking, that's different.
Yeah.
But guys, they ain't thinking about that. They want to add whoever look good and they gonna go from there. They don't know you from nothing.
I ain't talking about that.
Hey, I'm just just saying what the guys do, man. But nah, that's all. But it makes sense now because I didn't know that the sports stuff was that deep. In the sense of, I guess my brother played ball, so I guess I could see that. I used to spaz out.
It's a stressor.
I spaz out. Yeah, if you say anything, I'm spazzing out. Yeah.
It used to like cause like a lot of anxiety.
I can imagine my anybody I love being a coach too, because coaches get criticized so much for stuff that they have no control over. Sometimes it's insane. Yeah. But that's gonna piss me off because I'm gonna take it personal. Because
I remember I was at a game. We were playing. This is like 2 years ago. I think we were playing Butler at Thompson. And it was a game that we needed to win to like finish like second or something like that. Pretty good game. Butler ended up winning.
Shout out to Butler, man.
But I'm like, I remember sitting like watching the game. I'm not really saying much, but I'm watching the game and my watch go off and I look and it was like, your heart rate just increased. And I remember thinking like, okay, I have to pull away from this because I don't have a kid out here playing. I'm not playing. I'm just watching it. And I guess internally, because I had so many thoughts and I was just anxious and I really, really wanted them to win, that it like, of course I'm going to have no heart attack. But what I'm saying is like, it affects me.
Yeah, you invested. Be invested.
You know what I mean? So like sometimes, like that's why I was like, that's one of the reasons why I didn't go to a lot of games this year. I didn't want to be that in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wanted to kind of start to pull away where I live my own life, where I have my own things that I have to do on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. You know what I mean? So yeah, it plays on your anxiety, it plays on your stress because it's things that you want to say that you can't say because if you say that, then people are gonna think this and that, you know. So you're quieter more than you're loud.
Yeah.
Regardless of what people say, like.
I guess end of the day, no matter what you say, it's like you still a representation of someone else, I guess, and it's always gonna try back to that. Yeah.
That's what I hate. Yeah, but that's just what it is. It's how it roll. I mean. It is what it is, or what Slick said to Anthony Edwards. It is what it ain't. You know, I love
that's
that
how
commercial.
it is, man.
But yeah, it's cool. Whatever.
But yeah, man, I definitely appreciate you coming out, man. This was dope. I appreciate the time and good conversation. So it was everything I thought it was gonna be and more. So that's good. That's always good for me. So I appreciate coming through. I'm gonna clap it up for you real quick. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Now you did good though, man.